girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. And the girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. And the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
calling to say I...
The OOR may have missed a week, but ladies and gentlemen, we are back here once again for the North American Sprint Series. It is Season 9. I'd like to welcome everybody, Jerome, Chad, and everyone else watching at home, starting with Week 2 of the broadcast. We did unfortunately miss Week 1. The head honcho of the OOR, Mr. Mullick, was unfortunately out with some medical troubles. Doing better now, which is perfect, so we are ready to get back on schedule here. He did hit me up last night at about 3 in the morning, and he goes, hey, listen, if I were to somehow possibly get everything together for the Sprint Series tomorrow, are you available? And I said, of course I'd be available, Mullick. I have no problem with that. And about half an hour or so later, he goes, all right, here's the zip file with everything you need, and here is the stream key, and you can put it together. Good luck. So thank you, Mullick, for that. It is good to be back, though. It feels like it's been quite a long time since we've had an OOR broadcast. I know it's been roughly a couple months, but it's a very long couple of months, in my opinion. So I might be a bit rusty, which is an issue. But ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nicholas Aimone. I want to welcome you all back. As it stands, there is nobody else in the booth tonight. It is just me. We may have someone filling in later, but I am not too certain of that. Gingerman, yeah, hopefully not as hectic as AP races. I didn't see that. I did catch a bit of the of NA's race last week. I watched one of the drivers in Red Split, Ryan Garrity, did pretty good for himself, all things considered. Speaking of last week's result, with Blue Split, it was Saltho, Dornelis, and Pina your top three. So we've had a lot of new names here in the OOR this season, not just for Blue, but for Red. As we welcome Simon as well. How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the stream. Hope all is well, not only for you, but everybody else here in the room, everyone all across the world. But yes, a lot of new faces here. Patrick McNichol, and I believe, I'm assuming that's his brother Christopher McNichol, so perhaps a little bit of sibling rivalry. Although, well, it could be, I don't know. They're in separate cars this season. We've got Luke Southwell, as we said, out of the UK. Josh McKean, also from the UK. Chris Vining, I believe, was in EU, but now he's in North America, so a little bit of a shift for him. Matt Burgeon, just rocking it in the pits right now, even though it's showing Ronan Mendina, so I think my broadcast tool is a bit broken, but then again, when is it not? No shade there. Benjamin Habe, a new face here. Alex Krochik. Felix Tazvinswa Hacker. I have been, some of these I have been practicing like crazy trying to get these right because I get annoyed when I don't pronounce the name correctly. Frederick Boisvert, I'm probably pronouncing that one wrong. Mike Evans, I saw Racine in there earlier. Dan Good. And then we got some returning faces here. Thomas Dagg, one of the strong drivers from last season. Kenneth Portis as well, making a return here. Thomas Pierce right behind him. Zach Patterson before was in the Audi, and he has switched over to the Honda. Tommy Kogan on screen as well, picking up that Audi. You got Austin Carpenter, Mike Landry, Jonathan Clifford, Chris Frizza, James Philbin, Renato Dornelis, as we said earlier, and it looks like Timothy Flonger. So we have had some changes in the drivers and some new faces, some old faces, but that's what we like to see. In the Sprint Series, how did old Felix end up in NA? I'm guessing he got lost at some point and sort of just took the first exit that might have looked like the right one, and now he's here. No idea. Let me see if I click this. Yes! Oh, my broadcaster tool works, finally. I had to close it and do it again. But yes, we're going to be hopping into qualifying here any second, right at 8 p.m. as is standard here in the Sprint Series. But I'd like to quickly just turn it over to all the viewers. How you guys been? What's new? What's going on in all of your lives? You know, I feel like it's been a while since we've had this time together to be, you know, watching some great racing, some great action here at Misano. But yeah, what have you guys been up to? It will be a Super Sprint Series for tonight, so we'll have the first round of qualifying go into the first race, and then depending on the top 12, they'll be reverse gridded for the second race. And then after that, we'll hop over to North American Red and pick that apart. And that'll be it. I believe next week is going to be... I forget because I closed the wrong tab because I'm slow. But into qualifying we go here. Well, not new season. New season for us in the booth, obviously, because we weren't here last week. But what is the schedule looking like? So we had Silverstone last week. We have Misano today, Imola tomorrow, or not tomorrow, Imola next, or 2 weeks from now. We'll have a bye week next week, and then it'll be off to the Nürburgring the week after. And then the week after that, we'll be at Laguna Seca. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this will be the first time we've actually seen Laguna Seca in the in the Sprint Series. And yeah, we'll just see how that goes. And then the last race of the season will be at Suzuka. That was a new one from the previous season, but heading back there, it's a very good track. But for right now, we are going to be sticking it here with Italian tracks. Misano, I'm not too fond of. I don't know what it is about Misano, but she does not agree with me. You know, try as I might, as much as I sweet talk her, because you know, I know how Italian girls are. You know, she just doesn't like me, which is fair, which is totally fine, and I get it. But Imola I do like. Imola and I do get along very well. Just Misano, I don't know, she's a little too flat for me, but we're here, ready to get going. Misano, a not new season, but we'll call it a new season. We'll call it a new season just because we weren't here last week. But we'll see how things go. The Super Sprint does mix things up a bit for these drivers, especially some of the faster guys. When they finish in first, they feel good about themselves and they realize, oh wait, I had to start 12th now? Oh no. So So then they got to start picking their way through that. And, you know, usually, in my opinion, I don't care how good you are at, you know, the race or, you know, the level of drivers. I don't want to be in the mid-pack at the start. I don't care. I'd rather be up front or in the back. I never want to be in that mid-pack because it just... That's the one spot or the one area at the start that always just cramps up the most, and it's just not fun. But yeah, I'm not racing. I'm in the booth. This is why they put me in here, because I can't crash if I'm not racing, which is, yeah, I guess the strat. But we are keeping an eye here on Kenneth Portis. He was the first one out on track, first one out on a flying lap right now. So as these times start to pile in, we'll see just how things play out. But it does feel good to be back. I will be honest. I've missed this a lot. Right now, it's Kenneth Portis getting ready to round the final set of corners here. So he'll set the baseline lap for everyone else to follow. I try, when it comes to qualifying or racing, I try to be out first. That way I can just get things going. But across the line he goes. It's a 1:34.35, so very strong start from him. Now, if I remember correctly, so I can choose... Hold on. Broadcast. Okay, wait, hold on. I got this. Insert. Yes. Oh, there it is. I got it. I still remember, chat. I am so good at this. Guaranteed safety. The 1000 IQ reason to do commentary. Exactly, Rob. See, because I don't have to break virtual race cars. I get to not break anything other than potentially my throat if I talk too much, but not have enough water. But thankfully I do have water, as always. But right now it is McKean up top with the boat, a 1:33.26.5, so that's a pretty solid time. Especially with the way the Boatly acts over some of these curbs. It's I've seen some cars die immediately, and, well, we all know the Boatly. It just sort of goes over the curbs, and that's about it. It goes over the curb, and you don't really worry about much of anything. Actually, let's hop on board with McKean. So McKean is a new driver this season. Looks like he wasn't able to grab a seat in EU, so here he is in North America. If I'm not mistaken, he should be about 5 or 6 hours ahead, so it's currently about 5 after 8 for me, so we're looking at I gotta do math. Hold on. 1 to 2 in the morning. So shoutouts to Josh here, being an absolute player, getting up or staying up depending on how it looks, and showing up, showing out here. It still stands the 33.26. Southall with a 33. Oh wait, there's Dornelis. I was about to read the time. I guess not. No, it's Dornelis, a 1:33.115. So 0.15 of a difference, and now 2 thousandths. McKean so close to taking it away from Dornelis, but not quite. Dornelis in the Lambo this season. So another switch for him. I believe the last season we did, he was in the Aston as he almost bins the bull. As it was. We look around a little bit. Felix Tazvinswa, hacker. Hopefully he is not a hacker, because that would be very unfortunate. Sitting 4th on the pole, or 4th in qualifying, excuse me, with a, it was a 1:33.487. Currently his best, and a little bit of a wiggle, and I think he might have to back out of this lap. Not what you want. Dornelis, though, Dornelis letting traffic through, so after that scary twitch from him, he's got to give way. Josh McKean right behind him. Again, that 2 thousandths gap. So already we're seeing some of these drivers getting ready to fire on all cylinders. It has been a while for a lot of these guys. I'm sure there's been a lot of practice in the offseason. A lot of practice now. There goes McKean past Dornelis. We've got 2 races per split, and And again, I don't know if anyone's going to be joining me in the booth, and if no one does, hey, get ready to listen to my voice for the next 4 hours. If you're from my personal streams, then well, you're already one step ahead, and if you're not, well, get used to it. Josh McKean, though, on top, a 132.9, so Josh is the first person to break that 39 barrier. The only person close enough is Dornelis, a 133.115, so he'll have to take almost a Master Chief number of time off if he wants to find himself in the 32s. That is a tall order to ask at Misano, especially with some of these curbs, and oh, there it is. Dornelis, I believe, having to back out, or probably went off, so not the start he wants. Yep, his circle is blue, so he is on an invalid lap, but qualifying coming to an end here for North America Blue. The first round of races coming up in just a hot second as the last of the drivers coming across the line. So we hop to car 333. Luke Southall sitting P5 in the Porsche, the 133.43, and he will not improve, misses an improvement, and he is 200ths behind himself. Very good job from him. 710. Michael Landry in 16th makes it P15 at 34.01, so almost at 33 for him. How many cars are on track? Oh my god, 34? Okay, I knew there were a lot of drivers, but my god, I didn't know there were that many. I also didn't count them, but you know, it doesn't matter. Thomas Dagg, though, P21 with a 134.555. As he rounds the final corner here, getting towards the line. Will he improve? Crosses the line. P21 does not. Austin Carpenter, P20 in the Lexus, makes it P17 at the flag. And we head down. Frederick Bosvart, 25th for him. He actually gets knocked down, I believe, by Hickman. So Hickman picking up another spot here right at the end. Around car 33. So we got a couple cars off, getting back into the pits. Their qualifying is done and dusted. 13, Sean Piner crosses the line. Can he take the pole away? No, he cannot, but he does break the 32 or the 33 barrier and into the 32, so good for him. And the last car, 720. If I had to bet, it's a McLaren. It's Sean Williams, a new face here. And he will cross the line, will not improve. So now we've got 3 minutes to work with before we get into the action here. Let's see. There we go. Oh, look at this. This is perfect. Now, I gotta make sure. Boom. There it is. So we'll take a good look at the cars. A lot of nice liveries, I must say. I'm always surprised to see the liveries we have. I am interested as to why the Lexus of all things does not get a livery. Let me get that. There we go. Much better. That. You have to excuse me. I'm not used to my controls. It's been a while. But for those of you that have looked at the page on the website, you'll have noticed that the Lexus did not get an OOR themed livery, and I believe the reason for that is, I want to say, copyright or something with. There's something out of our control that we can't do, so the Lexus kind of just does its own thing. But you can see even cars with, you know, even the same cars, they have many different styles you can choose from here. One of the newer cars, the BMW M4, getting added. Back when this thing was put into game, it was pretty overpowered, and Kunos came through and said, "All right, you guys have had your fun. Time to tone her down a bit." Lexus right there. The wheels look a little bit different, but other than that, livery is kind of just a default one. Everybody else rocking something of their own. It is always amazing to see. I still wish we could use, you know, custom liveries that you get from sites like Race Department, because there are some very good ones out there. I know personally I would rock the 720S with the Fino livery, the old checkerboard. I think that was the first livery I ever saw that I actually liked, outside of Jeff Gordon's 24 car from the early 2000s. Those cool flames really captivated young Nick. But as it stands, we are getting ready to go racing here. It has been a long time. There is no safety car, so if a safety car is called, I do not know what the protocol is, other than possibly just having everybody slow down. I do agree with you, Benjamin. The purple and blue striped Lambos do look very spicy. Through the grid we go. It's Josh McKean on pole. Sean Piner joining him on the front row. Renato Dornelis, a very respectable P3. Thomas Pierce, P4. Luke Southall, P5. Phoenix Taz Vinswa Hacker with the P6. I will definitely get that down perfectly every single time. Zach Patterson, 7th. Kenneth Portis, 8th. Kevin Racine, 9th. And Flomger, your top 10. 720 has OnlyFans livery when. We could probably do that. I mean, I don't see why not. I think I did see it on. I think it was either Twitter or Race Department, like an actual like livery for. I think it might have been ACC. It could have been iRacing. I don't remember, but I remember seeing it. And you know what? Why not? Why not do it? But we'd only have to allow it for one person. We could do like a death match or like a race sort of thing where it's just one person. One person gets the OnlyFans livery. No one else can. Oh, goodness. For the drivers getting around for their parade lap, making all the cars look very, very pretty. 34 on the grid here tonight for North American Blue. I think North American Red is a little less than 24. I could be wrong. We'll have to see. OOR needs an OnlyFans 720 support race. Everyone using that car. You know what? Run that by Mullock. He'd be down with that. He'd be like, yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? Let's have some fun. Oh, goodness. But for right now, we just have these regular old liveries. Using the in-game editor because server issues are caused when there's custom liveries, which is unfortunate, but for the sense of competition and broadcasting, it's just easier to say, you know what? Everybody use what is given to you, change the colors, change the built-in designs, do whatever you want. Just please no custom liveries. All of which does get put through a bit of a screening process. It's not really the scariest thing, but it's, you know, you just submit it so they have it on file. Felix is going to make up some positions for sure. Yeah, P7 in that Ferrari. This is home territory for him. One of only 2 drivers in the top 10 racing in their home country, for the manufacturer at least. Dornelis being the other one in the Lamborghini. I'm more used to seeing the Lambos behind the Ferraris, so this is a bit of a shock to me, but we'll have to see what happens here as these cars are getting ready to start the race. The starting procedure has already been initiated. As you can tell, these drivers lining up 2 by 2. As they round the final corner, it's McKean on pole, Piner behind him, Dornelis, Pierce, Southall, Patterson, Hacker, Portis, Racine, Flomger, your top 10. Everyone else following in behind them. And now, hold our breath, we wait. We get close. And it's green, green, green for race number 1 here at Misano. It's McKean getting away the best. Piner as well, as we see 3-4, and there's an accident right there. That was the Honda going into the back of Piner. It might have been Southall, actually, that got taken out. Yes, it is, and there's the parking lot. Everybody getting involved one way or another. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you. And we did not even make it all of about 10 seconds before disaster struck. This is odd because normally these things only happen when Mullet casts. So no, this is not good. This is very different from me. You saw it was one of the Hondas. Car park at Misano. I'm thinking about Aimone too much. But you saw the Honda of, I believe it was a white Honda. It might have been, I think it was Patterson. Yeah, Patterson got into the rear end of Southall. Southall, unfortunately, I mean, that was horrible. You saw, oh, that is, uh-oh. That was not good. Krochik into the back of Hickman. Oh boy. So for those of you that are unaware, in the OOR, when it comes to a safety car, you are not ghosted. And the OOR is very serious about contact under safety car. So with Krochik accidentally taking out Hickman, that's probably going to be a penalty of sorts. We'll have to wait and see. But yes, we made it. 10 seconds, and it all fell apart. You saw a little bit of three-wide action, a little bit of late braking, but not the late braking you would have liked. So as they round, McKean will be given control of the field. So flags may be green, but he decides when they go. So he rounds the final corner. Up into the onboard. Looks like we may be getting another lap under the virtual safety car, despite there being no such thing in this game, but who cares? And the fastest laps are coming through. Congratulations, Thomas Pierce, for picking up the fastest lap. A 5:18.457. So it looks like we'll have another lap under the safety car. I'm sure the race directors are having a nice little chat with the drivers, telling them to keep it together long enough so that way we can get back up and racing. Definitely not the way you want to start the season with a big crash there. Believe the top 5, roughly the same. Hacker picking up positions. He started P8. He's sitting P4 right now. So Simon with the call of a lifetime. Congratulations on that. Driver's just trying to keep some heat in those tires. So we get roughly to about sector 2. I mean, you got to start somewhere. We made it. You know, we made it through almost the entirety of last season without a safety car, and then somebody said something, and it wasn't me because I would have remembered. Actually, it might have been me. I'm not going to take blame for it. But we got through pretty much the entirety of North America Sprint last season without a safety car, so I guess starting North American Sprint with safety car, balance in the force or something like that. It's the revenge of the 5th. I don't know. But hopefully we'll be back racing here at the end of this lap, because I would absolutely love to have some OOR action here at Misano. And then obviously once this race is over, the top 12 will get reverse grid and everyone else will go out and qualify. So if you're looking at a driver who ends up finishing outside that top 12, wherever they finish in qualifying, just add 12 onto that and you'll have their starting position. Here we go. Back around to the start-finish line once more. Hopefully McKean's been given the go-ahead to get this race underway. As he rounds the corner. And no. Another... Oh, there it is. McKean on the pedal. He's trying to get it going. And we are racing once more at Misano, got it right, as drivers crossing the line here. And looks like we're going through turn 1 pretty well. A couple of bumps in the back. You saw Racine getting a little too friendly with the curbs. As we hop back further into the midfield here. Drivers keeping it together. Boys, for a new driver here in the Mercedes. I mean, how could you miss it? It's like a Nerf football green. It's way too bright. McKean, though, he's wasting no time just pulling away from the field. You can already see the gap back to Piner, just about a second. And then Piner has Pierce right behind him, and Pierce, the hacker's in his rear view. Hopefully he's got today's sponsor, NordVPN, to keep him safe from that attack. And then behind that is Dornelis, Racine, Portis, Walker, Mendina, and Patterson, your top 10, as everyone else following suit here. But after the restart, drivers keeping it together. McKean still trying to make that gap a little bit larger. And speaking of gaps, we've got not Zach Patterson, excuse me. We've got Dan Good, one of the newer drivers, out in pretty much no man's land right now. He has nobody really in front of him. He's a second behind Burgeon. He's a second ahead of McNichol. And then, well, then we got this whole group behind starting to form a bit. So over these next few laps, I'm sure we'll see some more groups starting to form. We'll see some more groups starting to dissipate. But for right now, everyone keeping it together. It's McKean still in the lead. Piner, Pierce, Hacker, Dornelis, Racine, Portis, Walker, Medina, Patterson keeping their positions. Focus on this front-running pack. Hold on, I might have seen something in the background, actually. Oh, no, that wasn't an overtake. That was a... no, it's just a car. That looked about right. So, right now, I think we'll see what the autopilot says. Oh, right here with Hacker. Good old chase cam. We're Forza now, boys. As he is right behind Thomas Pierce and ahead of Dornelis. Ooh, looks for a move down the inside, but the door is closed. Pierce not giving it up just yet. Drivers will be awarded points for both races here tonight. So even though you may argue, well, the race just started, well, you want to gain as many points as you can. Onto the backstretch they go. Pierce doing a great job of not letting us see that beautiful Ferrari livery. Good evening, Tim. Glad to have you here. You missed a lovely little safety car at the start. But everyone's starting to fall into place here as this race carries on. So good to see that we're not quite dead yet. There was a penalty given out for Zach Patterson causing a collision on lap 1, and he has been given a drive-through. It says 15 seconds, but I'm sure they'll probably fix that over to be a drive-through here shortly, or maybe it stays as 15. I'm just running off of what the race control bot says in the Discord, as I don't get anything from anybody as to whether or not penalties are given out other than the scoring column. Ronan Medina, driver from last season, pretty solid driver overall, sitting in P9 right now. So he's doing pretty well for himself. He's got Patterson, but Patterson is eventually going to have to serve his penalty. So Bergen will be the closest driver to Medina for threatening. But for right now, the action's starting to calm down. Drivers getting settled in, ready for tonight's race. Thomas Pierce still having to worry about Hacker behind him. He has not let up just yet. The gap about 0.2 seconds. I believe that's gone down just a little bit from the last time we checked. As drivers start crossing the timing line, it's going back up actually. So Audi trying to pull away from the prancing horse. It's Hacker keeping Pierce honest. As we continue on, Hacker getting down the inside, but it's not going to be enough. Pierce getting a better exit out of that corner, cutting across and closing any door that may have been open. FBI, you cannot come in. I will not open up. Here we go on the front stretch. Hacker with a bit of a slipstream here, but not going to go for a move quite yet. Biding his time, saying, you know what, I'll pick him up in different parts of the track. But for right now, it doesn't matter, as we actually see... Is that Piner? Is that Piner pulling off? No, that couldn't have been Piner. Who was that? Someone pulled off to the side there. I don't know who that was. We actually have Quinn Smith and Benjamin Habe into the pits, I believe for damage for both of them. But who in the world was that pulled off to the side? That was very strange. All right. Well, in that case, we'll just pick it back up. Renato Dornelis will give us a pretty solid view of what we've got here. As he's looking to attack Hacker down the inside. There's the touch, and it's Hacker around, parked in the worst possible spot. Pulls onto the grass to let everybody through, but Dornelis, very, very naughty from you, my friend. That is definitely going to get the steward's attention. So we'll see Hacker having to unfortunately settle all the way down in P14, soon to be P15 if McNichol can make this stick. He cannot. He was pulling up, and we see the Lamborghini actually of Thomas Dagg trying to go down the inside of the Porsche. Not close enough, and with that awkward exit, that's actually going to give Jonathan Clifford a chance to catch up. So we could be seeing a three-way battle here for P15. McNichol holding on for dear life. And Clifford's actually fallen back a bit. Paremba in the Audi. Getting a bit too close for comfort there. But not quite good enough. And Aston Martin is slowing down. That appears to be James Philbin. What is going on there? It doesn't look like there's any damage to the car. What is happening? Habe, 10-second penalty for him. Salto with a 5. So Salto's down in 30th. He, obviously after that opening lap, he has been struggling. Krochik getting a 10-second penalty. If I had to bet on it, that is probably for the contact earlier. Luke Salto picking up a 5-second penalty is for dangerous driving on lap 1. So that's very, very interesting. Looking at the rest of the grid, though, Josh McKean starting to pull away from Piner quite a bit, though. 2.3, and then from Piner to Pierce is 2.8. Pierce has Dornelis in his rear view, not close enough for anything, and then Racine joining the green party here with some very, very colors that we all recognized. And then we got Portis to Walker, Medina, Patterson, Bergen, top 10, and then you see Dan Good. Or not Dan Good, excuse me, that was Bergen. Doing pretty well for himself, actually. Ronan Medina having to defend from Patterson as they go down the front stretch, onto the brakes, into turn 1. I always struggle with this sector, or this section of the track. I don't even know what to tell you. As try as I might, I can never get it right. Right now, still hunting down that purple Lamborghini. I believe that's what Medina rocked last season. So, keeping it classy with the purple. I'm a huge fan of that color scheme. We're going to look back a little bit. There's Boisvart going down the inside, actually, of Chris, or excuse me, that's actually Vining, I believe, getting around Boisvart. Yeah, that was Vining getting down the inside in another massive accident. Oh, Chris, what a cruel joke. What a cruel, cruel joke. Back up the grid we go. It's Patterson starting to pressure Medina a little bit. He does have that 15-second, though, so Medina probably is not worried too much. Patterson needing to keep it clean as he's looking for a move down the inside. The space is there. He's going to have to get on the brakes early, but he actually has an inside line, so he will overtake Medina, and there's Bergen down the inside, so Medina going to lose 2 positions, effectively 1 there, because of the time penalty from Patterson, unless Patterson can start pulling away and getting that gap up over the next 15 minutes. But what a move from Bergen to just take advantage of the situation. He saw that Medina got pushed wide, and he saw that the door was open and stepped right in. Amazon Express levels of overtaking. So right now, Bergen's sitting pretty, effectively P8. Medina will be gaining that position unless somebody goes into the pits. Reach the halfway point of this first race here in North America. Blue. Got some more penalties coming through. Austin Carpenter, 10-second penalty, causing a collision on lap number 1. We've got Alex Krochik, a 15 for causing a collision. We caught that on camera. That was into the back of one of our, I believe, Mercedes drivers. And Benjamin Habe getting a 10-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 4. So North America, well, struggling a little bit. Try to keep it together as best we can as we hop around the grid here, as we've got a nice train of cars going. It's McNichol, Dag, Paremba, Hacker, Clifford, Vining, Boisvert. This little Boisvert in no man's land, really. Sean Williams having to defend from Timothy Flomger in a very nice livery. Oh, look at this. It's Flomger looking for a move down the inside. He will have the inside line on the brakes, and he's going to go into the corner, and into the side of him goes the McLaren of Williams. If I were, ask me, I'd say that's more of a racing incident. I don't think that was a deliberate block. But it's Flomger picking up P21 here. Eventually the scoring column will update, but until then it will not. Patterson still keeping Virgin at bay after getting around him. So he hasn't really built the gap up, and he hasn't really gained time on anyone in front of him. So for the time being, he'll sit 8th, but you add 15 seconds and he starts going down, down, down the grid, which is not what you want. But it's only the first race. There'll be more races later tonight. Not just for North American Blue, but we got North American Red after this. So we'll see. See what happens. McKean, though, picking up fastest lap of 33.222. As he's looking for a win here in the North American Blue Series. He has done a pretty good job here. 2.1 seconds back to Piner. And then Piner, well, he's got quite the gap to Pierce, so he doesn't have really much to worry about. I know it says 4.2, but it's about 4.2. All right, never mind. Broadcast controller is giving me different signals. You hate to see it. Up around the grid here, Paremba 0.2 behind Hacker, who has had to do quite a lot of recovery after his incident earlier in the race. Or sorry, it's not Hacker. I think it's, I believe that's Dag. Yeah, that is Dag. So Hacker, again, still having to do a bit of a recovery drive after that touch from Dornelis. Not the way you want to start a race, but yeah, you get spun, you just say, you know what, it's fine, I'll carry on. I'll see what I can do. Now this pack forming here. See, through the corners we go. This little 3-pack starting to form, and right behind them, well, you've got Vining looking to pick up any scraps he can. He's kind of hoping these guys start battling a little bit. Paremba looks down the inside. There's not going to be anything. It's Hacker trying to go around the outside, but it's not going to be enough. The Audi holding him off for another day. But for how long will it be as they go onto the backstretch here? There's going to be, well, a bit of a slipstream here, but not really close enough for anything. In fact, it's Paremba who's pulling away from Hacker as he gets right up under the bumper of Dag a little bit later on the brakes, running it out as wide as he can, and then right back in. Looks like we may be seeing a move here very shortly. But not quite close enough. Ooh, peeks down the inside, but there is not a gap there to work with. So I'll have to hold. Oh, there's Hacker getting on those sausages outside of the final turn. I can't tell you how many times I've completely ruined my life going over those curves. They don't look scary, but you run over them and all of a sudden you're roughly in the stratosphere, if I remember correctly. So Hacker will lose some time there that he had built up to Paremba. Oh, and Paremba into the back of Thomas Dag. That's not what you want to see. The onboard will give us a clue. Was it a bit late on the brakes? Oh yes, later on the brakes, and it's Lamborghini out and around. And I'm sure the stewards will be looking at that. Quite a interesting start, and because of that touch, actually, Hacker gets to pick some time back up, so it's almost like he didn't even have to worry about going over those curves because he's already made up the time he's needed. And now he is right behind the now funnily looking Audi. Not close enough for a move, but definitely close enough to have a little bit of slipstream. Into the heavy braking zone they go. I always go outside track limits here. It's nothing new. It's a constant thing, so you gotta give points where it's due. Renato Dornelis picking up a 10-second penalty for a collision on lap 6. We saw that with Hacker. And Paremba actually not getting a penalty here. So it looks like it was more of a racing incident in race control's eyes. Yeah, no penalty coming through for him. So quite a lot of red being put next to these drivers' names And there's Hacker actually very, very close to the Audi there, almost rear-ending him. And in front of them is Hickman. So these two, despite battling, have caught up. Tezvinswa really looking to get something done here. He wants to get around this Audi as soon as humanly possible, because there's only about 8 minutes to go here. Because he had to sit on those brakes a little bit longer, he's going to go past. And there's Hickman defending down the inside in what I can only describe as an Arizona iced tea livery, which makes me very thirsty for one now. Still defending down the inside. He's not going to let it slip. Oh, this is getting very, very interesting. Tezvinswa also getting in on the action. It's the back end of Hickman getting tapped by Paremba. Paremba finally getting a penalty through, and it's actually Tezvinswa around the Audi. And he's looking to get things going with the BMW. This could get very, very dicey very, very quickly. As this 3-pack goes, there's the Audi off into the sunset. And Tezvinswa, oh man, that's Vining almost going into the back of his fellow Ferrari driver. Hickman will ride on board here, and look at this pack forming behind them. Oh, it's all starting to come together here in the midfield. Hickman running from the Wolves. But does he have the legs for it? I don't quite know. If he does, Tezvinswa pulling out to the outside as they go down into turn 1, and Tezvinswa gonna get that move done. Finally around, enjoying the sweet, refreshing victory that is the Arizona iced tea. Not sponsored. And then Vining having to play catch-up Paremba as well after his little excursion. But I don't think Hickman's done. I think Hickman's just getting started. He wants that position back. He knows that Ferrari's quick, but he has faith in his M4 to catch back up. And there you see, in the background, it's Chris Vining going down the inside here. A little bit later on the brakes, and the move's going to stick. Paremba also trying to get a piece of the cake, but he cannot. Has to back out. Not quite good enough. Oh, and it's Hickman later on the brakes. Hickman actually picking up a drive-through penalty. That must be for track limits, because that, I don't believe that can be given otherwise, and I don't think he's done anything to show that he's quite gotten a penalty for drive-through. So the track limits here kind of confuse me. That's why I don't race here. That's, ooh, Paremba trying back up the grid though. Adrian Bourdon, thank you for not only showing up, but giving us a little bit of insight everywhere else. I can only look at so many places at once. Racine doing a very good job catching up to Pierce. Only 3.5 or so seconds, maybe 0.2. So a very good drive from him. McKean and Piner are, well, they're basically in another continent at this point. There is no way in the world that these two are going to catch up unless something terrible happens to both of them. Oh, Racine. Did he just lose the Bentley? Is that possible? I don't even think it's possible to lose the Bentley like that, but a good save from him. Keeping things together. And now Pierce gaining a little bit more breathing room. In the background we go. It's Ryan Walker. Got Patterson behind him. But even if Patterson gets around, he's not going to get to keep the position. But Patterson doesn't care. He wants it. He's going down the inside, almost into the rear right quarter panel, and he actually loses that Honda a little bit. Keeps it together, though. You saw the back end starting to fishtail, but he gets it under control. Down the inside he goes. Patterson getting around Walker, but my friend, you will not get to keep that position because you've got a 15-second penalty hanging over your head. And unfortunately, this is not Gran Turismo. You don't get a line where you automatically slow down. That gets applied to the end of the race, or a pit stop, but there are no pit stops. It's only a 30-minute race. It's your standard lobby. Or to be 20. Ah, who cares? This is the OOR. This is not your pubs. This is just the boys and the grills out here. Zach Hickman, sitting P28 behind him, is Patrick McNichol. So it looks like two sets of brothers, two different areas. As, ooh, down the inside he goes, and there's McNichol forcing the issue, but he overshoots the apex, and he's actually just going to lose that position again. So Hickman getting to hold on to P28 for the time being. McNichol not quite what you want, but works with what he has. And we actually see Gelrum starting to get into the picture here, potentially giving Hickman another position. We'll have to wait and see. I think Hickman's got a little bit more each way. Oh, but he falls back. He's losing time. McNichol looks down the inside, pulls out of it, decides that it is not for him. And for the time being, Hickman gets to stay ahead of the Porsche as he does run wide, though, over the bumps, but it doesn't look like he lost a lot of speed here. So, good for him. I know how many drivers get all bent out of shape when they go over those massive sausage curves and they just lose everything. But not Zach. Holds on. Silver rated, still waiting for classification for him. Whether it's going to be amateur, pro-am, or pro. We'll have to see as the season goes on. The lovely heads of the OR will give him his classification. It's Hickman into the pits with a great team name, serving his drive-through penalty. It's either serve the drive-through or take a 30-second time penalty at the end. Paremba actually getting a 10-second for a collision on lap 12, so I don't think it was the first one we saw. But Hickman through the longest pit lane known to man. And he is getting closer and closer, and eventually he'll be out into the world once more. But we look back up, Kevin Racine hunting down Thomas Pierce. He's recovered some time, about 2/10 or so, but he's only got about a minute and a half to do so. Josh McKean getting ready to start his final lap and just in time. A minute 30 left on the clock here. So for McKean, it has been pretty much a Sunday drive for him. Got off the line, there was the incident before, and at the restart he got on the straightaway, punched it, and never looked back as he goes around a back marker driver. But what a race he has had this evening. Good on him. Hopping around the grid. Thomas Pierce, though, starting to lose some time to Racine. It's about 2/10. It was looking at about a 10th just before I clicked over. For right now, he holds on, albeit just barely enough. Dan Good in the Beamer, having to deal with one of the McNichol brothers, but not close enough for a move. So for right now, he'll stay P11, and P10 is about 3, almost 4 seconds up the road, so not quite enough. Looking around the grid, though, a lot of people starting to settle into their positions. We've got this little backfield starting to form. It's Carpenter, it's Hickman, or actually it's Hickman, it's the two Hickman brothers, but one of them, the Aston Martin, or not the Aston Martin, the Mercedes, has a drive-through. But it's gonna be McKean grabbing a P1 for him, Piner P2, Thomas Pierce fends off Racine long enough and makes it onto the podium. P3 for him, Kevin Racine P4, Renato Dornelis P5 for the time being, but unfortunately he will be losing that to Portis. So Portis getting into the top 5. Patterson also going to be losing out. Ryan Walker, Rona Medina, Bergen will pick up a few places. So I believe that your top 10 might be set in stone. And then you've got Dan Good doing pretty good for himself. P11 right behind him. Chris Vining, Christopher McNichol. Oh, there was an incident at the end. What in the world? What in the world happened there? We caught that right at the end. We'll have to take a peek at the replay to see what happened, and then we got a Lamborghini into a Ferrari, and, well, I mean, you go all over the place. Go off, guys. Do it. Tommy Cogan, P21, looks like the driver's getting through. One of the Hickman brothers. Zach not going to serve. that drive-through, and as you can tell, if you don't serve the drive-through, you get a 30-second penalty. So, what a race one. Can we? No, we can't look at it. Darn, I was really hoping we could see the replay. But looking at the timetable here for race number 1, McKean, Piner, Pierce, Racine, Portis, Walker, Medina, Dornelis, Burgeon, and Patterson, and Good and Vining, your top 12. So they do not get to participate in Q2, but everybody else will get to. But what a race one we had there. That was quite interesting. It was kind of a chaotic start, and then from there, well, no, things kind of just kicked off. So everyone P13 and down will be qualifying. I don't know if you guys just saw it. There is no filming permitted, camera or phone, so guys, please put them away. The OOR is trying to not get sued by Misano. Not that we would, but you know, things happen. But yes, Simon, grab your popcorn. Everyone else, grab your drinks, grab your foods. Qualifying number 2 of North American Blue Split here at Misano. Getting underway. These drivers getting out there. Getting ready to try and do a bit better than what they could have. Maybe their qualifying was a bit scuffed, or maybe they got knocked around a little bit, but regardless, getting ready to get another round going here. Let's hop around. So, out on grid right now, it is Christopher McNichol, Felix Tezvinswa Hacker, Luke Southall, Michael Landry, Austin Carpenter, Thomas Dagg, Jonathan Clifford, Matt Paremba, Tommy Kogan, Chris Frizza, Quinn Smith. Quinn Smith was in the pits for pretty much the whole race. Mike Evans, Sean Williams, Frederick Boisvert, Alex Krochik. I eventually I'll get these names right. Patrick McNichol, Gabriel Gilrum, Benjamin Habe, Alexander Hickman, and Zach Hickman out on the circuit right now. And, well, these drivers coming through. We're gonna ride on board with Hacker here as he's going over those sausage bumps. See that Ferrari getting all over the place. But for right now, keeping it clean. You saw he was the first one out, so he'll be setting the baseline here. Remember, when P13 and down. Like we said earlier, at the top 12 will be reverse gridded. That's a word. He'll be given the reverse grid. So if you finished in first, you're starting 12th, seconds in 11th, thirds in 10th, and so on until you get back all the way up or down, depending on how you look at it. Everyone else, though, just adding 12 positions to wherever they finish. I remember doing this. I never did finish a super sprint in the top 12. I finished one race in the top 12, and that was about it. But that was at Bathurst, and I just played the survival game, which I was really good at, except for almost crashing it at one point. But around the final turn, Tezvinswa goes across the line with a 1:33.695. So that'll be the baseline. We'll see if somebody can be faster, and maybe we'll see if somebody can get that coveted 32. It's Southall with the 33.37. Third of a second faster. Flomger in P3 with a 34.1. Or, sorry, not a 34.1. Actually, it wasn't 34.1, but he gets pushed around. Paremba with a 33.9. So only 3 drivers so far in the 33s. A bunch of other drivers in 34s, and 1 in 35, 1 in 36. So we'll have to see how things pan out. Tommy Kogan, a 1:35.9, so barely into the 35s for him. Christopher McNichol currently sitting P4 with a 34.1. Still not close enough for that 32. So we look around. Matt Burgeon sitting in the pit lane as I clicked on the wrong person. Mike Evans looks like starting his flying lap. James Philbin on a flying lap as well. got Gabriel Galerum. Looks like he should be crossing the line to set a time. He does. P16, a 36.5 for him. So that's where he is going to start. Quinn Smith getting another lap going here at a 34.9, but that was out of bounds, so it does not count. Then we've got Mike Evans, as we saw earlier, getting ready to see where his flying lap puts him. Same with Zach Hickman. Back up we go, though. Southall does not improve. Actually lost about 3 seconds, so he might have gotten a little loosey-goosey. And lost some time there. Tez Vinswa almost just about 3/10 back. Paremba half a second exactly back from the pseudo pole sitter. Carpenter P4, Christopher McNichol P5, Michael Landry P6, Timothy Flonger 7th, Dag 8th, Chris 9th, and Quinn Smith is top 10. But it's Christopher coming around the final corner here. Can he improve? Across the line he goes. It does not. Looks like he had to back out of that lap. 3 seconds back for him, so not quite what he was looking for. But still a very respectable P5 with that 34.1, a very strong time. Southall, though, still the only driver close enough to get that 32. We'll have to wait and see if it's this lap or the next one. He will have one more chance after this. Mullock is not here. I can't get rid of the bottom. Sorry. I've tried. Or maybe I have. I don't know. Where is Mullock? Donde está Mullock? But Luke Southall, around the final corner he goes. And will he be able? Yes, he does. The 32.98. It's barely enough, but it's enough. What a drive from him. What a time from him. As Tez Vinswa in the pits, might have gotten spun out. Paremba still sitting in P3 with that 33.56, so he does improve upon his time. It actually opens up a gap to Carpenter. Carpenter almost close enough to get that 33. Not quite enough, though. It's going to need 10 thousandths, I believe? Yeah. To make it happen. Firelord, you're correct. The bots are here. I do not have the administrator privileges to get rid of them, unfortunately. As much fun as I do have and as much control as I have of the broadcast, I can only control so much. The only man who can do anything is Mullock, and if I had to bet on it, Mullock is probably just straight up vibing right now. So qualifying is over. It is Southall on top with a 32.98. What a time from him. Tez Vinswa with a 33.38. And then it's Paremba sitting P3 right now, the 133.56. And it looks like that might have been outside of track limits, so it looks like his qualifying is unfortunately going to be over and done with. As we see what appears to be a bit of a battle up front, if I can find it. James Philbin, though, P18, 35.6. 7-7 for him, crosses the line, and will unfortunately not improve. Austin Carpenter, P4, he does improve, but it's not enough to overtake, so he will have to stay in P5, or P4, excuse me, P5 right now, belonging to Christopher McNichol. He has a 34.107. If he can somehow knock 0.2 off, he will have that P4 in the bag. But I guess not. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to fight under the lights. You can look at that. That is amazing. That is gorgeous. You know what? Let's get the blank. Let's get the blank screen. I mean, that looks incredible. I love seeing all these different colors, pinks and blues and oranges and greens and yellows and reds and whites, and it's perfect. But night races are pretty scary, in my opinion. A little bit frightening. No, that's not it. There we go. Excuse me, I don't need the track map. I appreciate it though. It's very cool. So yes, reverse grid for race 1. So this will actually have a bit of an effect on the start procedures. So, you know, if the grid leaves like this, then Southo will get the green flag, you know, the little bit after the start-finish line, as one normally does. But because of this reverse grid, and he'll be sitting in what is effectively P13, there will not be a green flag until he crosses that little line in the sand. So start procedures are delayed. Because of that, some drivers do get thrown off a bit. I remember when I first did it, I was very confused as to why we weren't racing when we thought we were. And then I learned that apparently things are a little different. That I never knew. What is going on with the Audi's bumper right there? Oh, probably aero adjust or maybe ride height adjust. So drivers just getting their setups all sorted out here on the grid. So it is still going to be 34 cars, 34 out of 34. We'll see how well, or not how well, excuse me, I guess how well we can hold that up. Sometimes drivers will get into a pretty bad accident and they'll just say, you know what, retire the car, call it a night, go to bed, make a sandwich, in that order as you do. But with 30 seconds to go here, drivers getting the call out. You see the lights coming on, flashing the lights. I'm sure that's for good luck. As for those of you that don't know, if you do not start your car, if you don't hit drive within that final 30-second window, you end up starting from pit lane. So all of these lights starting to come on. So looks like nobody starts from the pits. So now what the race directors are doing is they are calling out the car numbers for the reverse grid, and they'll pull on through to start the race here. As we see, that is a Beamer and a Honda pulling on through. Yep, Zach Patterson, Rona Mendina joining them. Renato Dornelis. I have to look towards the bottom of the grid. Kenneth Portis. We'll see who is effectively, or not who is effectively, who isn't first. That is a Ferrari of Vining, who hopefully is not in another massive accident, because that would be very unfortunate. And, you know, let's see if these guys have been able to keep. That is a great camera angle. Thank you. Did they? I think they kept the straight line. Yeah, roughly. Yeah. What's that? That's a Porsche, or that's a boat. Come on, man, get it together. So they did a pretty good. They did an okay job of keeping the reverse grid, top 12 straight and narrow, and everyone else kind of just doing their own thing. Off into the night they go. So Chris Vining starting up top, finishing P12 last race, and he'll be getting the chance to start from pole this time around. I've lost my cursor. Noah, stop again. Oh, there it is. Found it. Alright, anywho. So, as I said earlier, we will have the start be a little bit later than normal, because the game is waiting for the pole sitter from Q2 to cross that line, and then and only then the race will get underway. So I believe your top, I want to say 3, will probably already be into turn 1 by the time we get going. It could also be 4 and 5 as well, depending on how close they are. But we'll see just how well this start goes. Hopefully a lot better as they start lining up 2 by 2. Directors calling it out as we get set and ready for race number 2 here. North America Blue Split at Misano. And after this, we'll hop over, see some red split action, and see if well, things are a little bit different as the rest of the cars following the pack in the background. So it's Chris Vining sitting on pole, Dan Good joining him on that front row, Zach Patterson and Bergen, row number 2, Dornelis and Medina, the 2 Brazilian brothers. They're not related, but, you know, countrymen. On row 3, Ryan Walker, Kenneth Porter, 7 and 8, Kevin Racine and Thomas Pierce, P9 and 10 respectively, and Piner and McKean sitting in that row 6. So across the line they go, and it's green, green, green for race 2. Vining getting a pretty good start there, and it's actually the Honda going into the side of the BMW, but for the most part, drivers keeping it clean. We got someone off in the background there, but Vining right now taking his chance and getting away from the pack that's starting to form. We got some 3x3, 2x2, hopefully nothing by 4s. I know we all like some 4x4, but this is not what they were talking about. As this backpack starting to form quite nicely here. See Audi going at it with the Bentley, losing some time, and the Porsche picking up the pieces, I believe. And there's, we'll actually hop on board with Salto, who's under attack right now from Paremba. Paremba looking to go around the outside here, but it's not going to be enough, and people getting backed up every which way into each other. But this has been a much better start. Piner still having to defend from the red-hot Audi. Into the turn before the back stretch we go, and it's actually Piner not getting out of that corner quite well. And Paremba will get that overtake done as they go charging down the back stretch. Renato Dornelis and Bergen gonna be doing battle for this P4. Chris Vining trying to pull away from the BMW and the Honda, but not doing as well as he would have liked. And as I say that, well, he gets out of town way too quick. Dan Good is starting to come under attack from Zach Patterson. Patterson's Honda very, very quick. Around the grid we go. Oh, and that's going to be Medina going wide, so Racine's going to pick up a position. And Medina might fall into Pierce's hands. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. It's McKean keeping Southall at bay. McKean picking up a position here at the start. P11 for him. He's got 28 minutes to get something done, as we see Medina, or not Medina, or yeah, it was Medina, excuse me, losing not just 1 but 2 positions now. It's Pierce and McKean, so McKean making very quick work on this grid. This restart, not a problem. But a very good start for all of these drivers. Looking back around the grid, Quinn Smith, ooh, getting a little bit loosey there. Oh, actually, we've got Ronan Medina. He's got to deal with Southall, Tez Venzwa, Paremba, and Piners. It's going to be the Porsche of Southall down the inside. What a dive from him, but now he's got this Lamborghini right behind him, and that's not a very happy-looking Lamborghini. As Medina pulling out to the outside, he's going to try to use that wider line, maybe gain a little bit more speed. Into the braking zone they go, and he's a little bit early on the brakes, and that's going to give Tez Venzwa the opening. Down the inside he goes, and it's going to be Medina losing another position, but not quite yet. Oh, he's got it back out. He goes over those sausage curbs, and he will lose more time. Paremba having to slam on the brakes to avoid rear-ending the Lamborghini, and there it is. There it is, Medina losing just 1 position, potentially 2 to Piner. And there it is, Piner around the outside he goes. And Medina not having the start he wanted. Not what you want to see in the slightest from him. For right now, it's Chris Vining finally getting his running shoes on and running away right now. Just about a second to Dan Good. And actually, speaking of, there's Dan Good. There's the Mercedes, and there's another Beamer and a Honda. Let's roll it back, see what happened. So into the corner they go. Oh, and it's actually going to be a touch from Patterson. So I don't know if Patterson didn't expect that break or what happened. But he goes into the back there of Dan Good, and oh, it went from Good to Disgracious as he is just falling down the grid to 31st, and that, oh, that's not what you want to see. He gets spun and he's struggling to keep that Bentley going, so I'm sure penalties will be handed out here rather shortly as I click the wrong thing and I open up something else. Good job, me. Really on the ball today. There we go, got it. But we look back a little bit as Vining actually picking up the fastest lap, a 34.27 for him, so a very solid start. Walker into the pits. I'm assuming for damage from the collision earlier. Not what you wanted. And Medina sitting in P11 right now. He's got Kenneth Portis behind him. So we'll see what happens. Let's go way back in the grid. We've got Gabriel Gilram sitting P27, and he has Dag and Boisvert behind him. Boisvert trying to overtake one Lamborghini, might try two. We'll see what happens, if he can or if he can't. Back up we go. Josh McKean has made up a tremendous amount of places. He started P12. Last time we checked, he was, what, P10? And now he's P4. And we see in the background, it's Racine looking for a move down the inside on Pierce. Pierce holding on for his dear life as he can. And he's actually going to try to overcommit the Bentley as he goes into the back of it. But a great save there from Racine to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. South will pull it up alongside the Bentley. It might have been a little bit of trading paint there. But it's going to be Racine who has to, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to lose not just one, but potentially two positions here, as Tezvinzwa getting alongside, trying to go around the outside, down the inside. There's a bump right there. That Bentley planted to the floor. And it looks like, yeah, Racine going to have to give up that P7 and settle into P8 behind the Ferrari. But what a little scrap that was. Minus the whole, you know, bumping and this and that. It was a pretty solid scrap. So good job for all these drivers. Moving back a little bit. Quinn Smith, P14. Jonathan Clifford, P15. And Patrick McNichol, P16. So this little train starting to form a bit. I don't know if there's a conductor. There might not be. I don't really know. But then again, I don't work on trains, although I know someone who technically is a train conductor. Kevin Racine, though, starting to feel the heat from Paremba here. For P8, Paremba is trying to hunt down that Bentley. Getting very, very close here. Down the inside he goes. Later on the brakes, he's keeping that door open as much as he can. He's going to lose the back end a little bit, actually. But it's going to give Racine a chance to come back. They touch. There's no spinning here. Down the inside, it's Racine. He's got the optimal corner here. Down into the final corner here at Misano. And Racine barely holding on to this. Paremba getting a better exit out of the corner, and it's actually Piner with the slipstream who's going to come down the inside and alongside the Bentley, having to back out there. You saw him get loose. That back end wanting to kick out, but doing a great job of keeping the thing under control. So Paremba and Racine doing a little bit of position trading. Piner joining in on the fray. He wants to have some fun. But not quite enough to catch up. I'm sure in the coming laps we'll see some more action. Chris Vining, though, his gap to second place has fallen because Renato Dornelis is the one who's been making moves. So that gap was about 2 seconds the last time we checked. Now it's less than a second. You've got Patterson 2 from there and McKean 3.5. So McKean's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get back up front. You may look at this and go, well, it's only 3 positions. But it's 3 positions in the next 20 minutes. So that's a lot to do, especially with the level that these guys are on. It's a tall order, but I'm sure if he can't reach it on his own, he'll get a little step ladder. We should have one of those. We welcome PJ to the stream. Good evening, my man. Thomas Pierce Starting to feel the pressure from Southall. Gets a bit of a more inside line, so he'll catch up just a little bit. As we get the right camera here for the wrong driver. Good stuff. There's Southall trying to use any bit of the slipstream he can. Pulls to the inside, but has to back out of that one. There was not a gap there. Probably just showing himself. Trying to throw Pierce off. A little bit of a switcheroo move to try and gain any time he can, but the gap staying. Down the inside he goes. Luke Southall getting into the side of the Audi, but does not spin her out. So Pierce holding on to that. Luke backing out saying, hey, this is not what I want to do. This is not how I want to overtake. So good job on him. And then you saw Tez Vinswa just flashing the headlights, saying, boys, I'm coming for you. You're not out of the woods quite yet. But what a good little battle there. Good job to Thomas Pierce to keep it together. Indeed, quite the send. Quite the send, but again, thankfully kept it clean, kept the car pointed in the right direction, which is what we want to see here. Vining starting to pull that gap out a little bit. Now it's about a second or so to Dornelis. So Dornelis having to do a lot of work for this P1. Not quite what he wanted. He was a bit closer earlier, but he's fallen back. So we'll see in the next 19 minutes if he can make it happen. You see your top four on screen right now. McKean in the background. He's starting to close up the gap here. So McKean looking to make it 2 for 2 on the night. As we hop around the grid a little bit, Jonathan Clifford sitting in a very respectable P15 for him. Behind him is Patrick McNichol. And in front of Jonathan Clifford, about 3 seconds up the road, is brother Christopher McNichol. So he's in a very interesting sandwich. But the top bread is quite a ways off. So I'm sure there's going to be some, some lettuce, some tomato, and probably onions, and probably some other stuff that gets tossed in between. But for right now, he's got to worry about the Porsche. He's trying to hunt him down. Not quite close enough. In fact, a better exit out of the corner. You can just see how much speed he's gaining and how much space he's building just out of a corner. Good job from him running it out as wide as possible. Once again, just opening up that gap. See it happen. Ooh, all the time. Just your exit's a little bit different. Things start going your way down the backstretch. This little double train starts going. 3 drivers up front, 4 more drivers behind. So for right now, we jump ahead. Racine, P9. He wants that position back from Paremba. Piner waiting to pick up any sort of scraps that may come his way. But not close enough yet. Not close enough yet. He's probably just waiting for them to start getting a little bit spicy, and then getting on the throttle and trying to pick up positions. Looking a little bit back towards the grid. Tommy Kogan, P20 for him, having to hold off Frizza. Frizza is still rocking 74. I respect that. I respect that. So Frizza, if you see this, good job, dude. Keep it up. Keep it up. Right now, though, well, I don't know about you guys, but that Bentley looks mighty familiar. And speaking of mighty, how about the almighty send there from McKean to overtake Patterson? That was brave. We got to see that again at the worst time. Oh, he just gets, I think he got a little bit into the back of the Honda. And there might have been a little bit of contact, but if there wasn't contact, that was quite the send, and I'm glad it all worked out for McKean. So from P12 to P3, as we reach just about the halfway point. In front of him, about 3 seconds up the road, is Renato Dornelis, who is still trying to close that gap to Vining. It is staying at a second. Don't mind that sound, I'm just hitting my cup on my desk. But yeah, what a send from McKean. Pierce Still with Southo behind him. A lot closer now, just about 2/10 between them. Southo doing a pretty good job of himself, and then Taz Vinswa, I'm going to get that right. A lot more sooner than later. In the background there, just waiting for these two to get a little bit cozy with each other. And just start sending it. But again, this three-way battle for P8, Paremba, Racine, Piner. They're staying close, waiting for a mistake. All it's going to take is one mistake, and before you know it, things start heating up, and you start getting a lot closer to a position. As it's going to be Racine a little bit, actually no, about keeping the gap to where it is. Maybe a little bit later on the brakes. Actually, yeah, you can see how Lady goes there. It catches right up to the Audi in front. Looking around the grid. Mike Evans, Mike Evans getting together with Gabriel Gilram. I wonder if we can move back. We can. So it looks like there's a bit of a back marker issue here. I'm not too sure. Lights are flashing all over the place. Yeah, just into the rear left quarter panel they go. So I'm not going to try to guess who was in the wrong there. I think it might have just been a bit of a racing incident. Unfortunate to see there. We look back up the grid as we see Rona Medina. It's got Alexis in front. Or is that Quinn Smith? It's Quinn. Okay, yeah, it's my timing column on screen did not update because it's Assetto Corsa. But it's Quinn Smith, Rona Medina, and Christopher McNichol. 12, 13, and 14 for them. So we'll keep an eye on this. And this group looks a little bit closer now. Last time I checked, I think they're all just reeling each other in a little bit each lap. That's all you got to do. You don't have to gain heaps of time at the start, but if you're gaining a 10th here, a 10th there over the course of a lap, hey, before you know it, you're going to be right on that guy's bumper. But Paremba doing a great job of keeping things together. Did I just hear a voice? No, I didn't. I am losing it, chat. I have officially lost my mind. But right now it's Racine looking to go around the outside, perhaps the inside of the Audi here. He's very close now. You can see a little bit of a slide, and unfortunately not quite close enough, just getting right under that bumper there. But can't make anything of it. So for right now, Paremba just holding on as much as he can as he actually goes into the grass. So this could potentially give Racine a chance, but not quite. Not quite. Even with that error, Paremba's still able to keep that gap up. Although Racine has pulled away a little bit from Piner. So that's very good for him, and he's actually going to look for a move down the inside. It's very ambitious, and he's got to stand on the brakes to avoid spinning out the Audi. I know we're all familiar with Audi tings, but that would not be one of them. So now Paremba getting a bit of breathing room. Racine, because of that little driver error, will get moved back into Piner's open arms, looking to gain anything he can. Josh McKean starting to build that gap up to Patterson. And I believe right up the road, yep, there it is. There's Dornelis. There's Vining, 2.3 just about to these first two. You can see just how much these cars can bounce around through some of these sections. It is absolutely incredible to watch. Speaking of incredible, how about Vining? At the start, he had kind of struggled to get away. Then he eventually got away, and then lost the gap and built it up again. And it's Dornelis having to keep him in check here. But Josh McKean, the man that I've been keeping an eye on, especially with this reverse grid starting P12 all the way up to P3 with just about 11 minutes to go. So we'll see if he can grab anything else. Around the grid we look, and actually got some action here. Alex Krochik having to defend from Hickman and Walker. both of the BMWs with penalties. Oh, wait, actually, sorry, it's Evans and Hickman. My apologies. So Evans and Hickman, or it is Walker. I don't know. These timing things don't update at all. So right now it's Walker who could walk away with a position as he sends it down the inside. And, ooh, that was... Hickman thought about it. Thought about it for just a minute, but realized he had to back out. Yeah, we got drive-through penalties. We've got 5 seconds. We've got 10 seconds. Welcome, by the way, to Isha. Great to have you here tonight for the North American Sprint Series here at Misano. It's race 2 for Blue Split, and after this we'll be hopping over to North America Red. Right now, Chris Vining, though, still keeping that 3/10 gap. It does say 6. Yeah, it actually is. Never mind. Gap on broadcast controller really throws you for a loop sometimes. Let's look through all these penalties real quick. So Jonathan Clifford did not get a penalty for causing a collision. James Philbin did not get a penalty for causing a collision. Patrick McNichol got a 5-second for causing a collision on lap 1. 5-second penalty for Zach Hickman for a collision on lap 1, or out of position actually on lap 1. Mike Evans picking up a 5-second penalty out of position. Gabriel Galerum, 5-second penalty out of position. Zach Patterson, 10-second for a collision. Dan Good with a 10-second for dangerous driving. So what a night we've had here. McKean did almost take a second out of that lap. Yeah, he has. A second and a half, and he still maintains. I mean, you can see his fastest is only about 500ths ahead of his best, or his previous lap. So McKean doing quite the run the last lap. Chris Vining did a 33.8. Renato did a 34.002. Josh McKean a 33.32. So it has been quite the run from him. About 8.5 to go. So the question is, can he bring this gap down by the end and get some more positions? I'm sure he's hungry for it. I would be too. I'm actually kind of hungry right now, come to think of it. But he's hungry for positions. I'm hungry for, like, pasta. But yeah, he's done an amazing job with that reverse grid, starting P12, sitting P3. Even if he doesn't move in any capacity from this point on, it's still an amazing drive out of him to go all the way up to this position. It's been incredible. You see Patterson in the background. He does have that 10-second penalty, so I believe he'll be dropping a few positions if the race were to end right here. But for right now, looks like everybody's starting to get a little bit comfortable. Sean Williams for the McLaren Shadow Project. He's got Boisvert behind him. Just about half a second or so, maybe a little bit less between these two. So go down this back stretch. McLaren, one of the faster cars on the grid. Very good top end. It's, you know, it's looking like with all these penalties, it's looking like a bit of Battleship, and all the hits around you, but not quite on you. And that's something. Oh, I know all drivers are looking like, oh, everyone else getting penalties, but I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well for myself. Thomas Pierce having to deal with Southall right behind him. And real quick, Chris Vining, Renato Dornelis, Josh McKean. McKean taking out, I think it was about 4/10 over that last lap, so he is a lot closer now. I know the Bentley is the most intimidating thing, but he is making that boat look terrifying, like something out of Hydro Thunder almost. But what a drive he has had. Yeah, PJ McKean has joined the chat. He heard P1 and just started sprinting up the road. But 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go. McKean, what a drive from him. And he's not done yet. He's got a Lamborghini and a Ferrari to get around. The two hometown heroes, the two manufacturers from the great country of Italy, having to hold off the British Bentley, as it looks like they're coming up on some traffic right now. I believe that is a Mercedes. Or, sorry, that's a Ferrari. Or, no, that's not a Ferrari. That's Vining in the Ferrari. I know my cars, guys. Oh, but there it is. There's the exit out of the corner. It's McKean a lot closer to Dornelis. looking down the inside, trying to spook him, but not quite. There's your Mercedes back marker, probably getting blue flagged, and he pulls off to the right side, slowing down, letting everybody through right now. He knows the gap is there. He's trying to keep his speed up, but right now, ooh, around the outside, McKean goes, flashing the headlights, saying, buddy, I need you to get out of my way, please. I've got work to do. And that work is only about 4/10 ahead of him, up to Dornelis, and then Dornelis about half a second back to Vining. We'll have to see. 5 minutes to go, a few more laps here. We just see Quinn Smith picking up a 10-second for a collision on lap 4, and Carpenter getting a 10-second for a collision on lap 4 as well. So that's fortunate to see. McKean getting so close to that Lamborghini. He knows if he can't get P1, he's at least going to get P2. Renato Dornelis having to do everything he can to hold off this blazing Bentley. McKean, what a drive from the UK, but making a splash here in NA. P12 up to P3. He took that race 1 with pretty much no problem. Right off the start, there was the accident that caused the virtual safety car, but once that was over and he was ready to get back out on the road, he just sent it, never looked back. And he has been doing roughly the same here in this race number 2 as we pass the 4-minute mark. So running out of time to try and grab this P2. He may possibly just say, you know what, I'll park it here in P3. If Dornelis happens to make a mistake, so be it. But for right now, he's just playing for himself. Vining, though, has been doing pretty much what McKean did in the first race. Vining, because of that reverse grid, because he finished P12, he gets put up into P1. He just has been taking this race and sending it, has not really worried about much. He's been gaining and losing time to Dornelis throughout the course of this, over the course of the race. And now you've got McKean in the picture as well. Last laps for all these drivers. Vining a 34.19, Dornelis a 33.905, and then McKean with a 34.34. So it's Dornelis who gets the best out of any of these drivers. But the gaps still staying where they are as they come up to a back marker. They're all queuing up on the side. There's Dornelis. I think Vining might have braked a little too much as this McLaren getting in the way there. And there's Dornelis. He goes right into the back of the McLaren. And it's actually gonna be Josh McKean taking advantage of that. I'm sure Dornelis on the radio right now to get something given to that McLaren. You always hate it when you get bopped or get messed up by a back marker, but here's McKean. He's so close to that P1. Vining saying, no, please, I've had this since the start. He's trying to take advantage of the reverse grid to finish on top of the podium, but McKean really going to give him a run for his money. And unfortunately, Vining, you've got another lap after this. You have one more lap after this to defend your position. Across the line you go. By the time he gets back, there'll be about 10 seconds left. At that point, that'll be the final lap. So McKean might be sitting back and waiting, and then over the course of this lap, gaining a little bit of time here, a little bit of time there, and then that last lap, that's when you go on the attack. That's when you really start putting the pressure on. That's when the mistakes may happen. Vining has done a fantastic job this entire race. Right from the start, kept it together, kept it clean, kept it within the lines. But it's McKean. He wants that P1 so bad. Vining, his heart rate probably starting to elevate if it wasn't already. Palms sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. You're in the place of spaghetti. And he'll have one more lap to go here as they go down the back stretch another time. Again, just probably about 10 or so seconds when they get to the line, maybe 7 if my calculations are correct. McKean, 3/10, 2/10. He's trying to gain any time he can as they head through the end of Sector 3. Around the final corner they go. Chris Vining, you've got 1 lap between you and victory. Crossing the line, 10, 9, 8. 8 seconds to go in the lap. And Vining, you've got 1 more round of this circuit to keep it together. Josh McKean, what a run he's had. The 2 British men doing battle here one final time. Dornelis losing out the most of this exchange, getting caught up with a back marker, and Vining, or not Vining, McKean taking advantage of that mistake. But right now, Chris Vining, he sees the Bentley in his rear view. It's been sitting there for the last 2 laps. That pink light bar in the middle, those headlights, those everything. Being the bane of his existence as they go on to the backstretch for the final time here at Misano for Blue Split. McKean gonna try to use that slipstream. He's a lot closer now. This could get hairy. Vining going to the inside to defend around. He's gonna stick to that inside line. It's McKean having to go around the outside here. Into braking they go. Chris Vining, I think he lost a little bit of time. He might have braked a little bit later. McKean braking earlier, trying to get a better exit out of this corner. But Chris Vining, he's got 1 more corner to navigate. The Bentley, McKean trying. It's not going to be enough, and Chris Vining is going to win here in race number 2 at Misano. He held on just long enough. McKean from P12 to P2, and Renato Dornelis on the podium for him. Zach Patterson, that is quite the penalty, my man. 40 seconds for him. Tezvinzwa making it on P5, Salto 6, Paremba 7th, Piner 8th, Racine 9th, Portis 10th. Pearson, looks like someone else getting a little friendly there. I don't know who that was quite. 11th for him. Quinn Smith, 12th. McNichol, or Christopher McNichol, 13th. Clifford, 14th. Flomger, 15th. Patrick McNeil, 16th. Carpenter, 17th. Fariza, 18th. There he is across the line. Tommy Kogan getting around there for the final time. It's going to be a P19 for him. Dan Good getting it all good and well for him. But with all of the, I mean, it's a lot of penalties. That's a lot of penalties. I'm not gonna comment on that because I don't do it. But a lot of penalties coming through. Hickman picking up 50 seconds of penalties. Krochik 30 seconds. Racine 30 seconds. So yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, I might agree with you on that one, Nick. The track limits, I never know where they are on my own. But what a race we had. Chris Vining picking up the dub for Blue. So we take a look at the timetable real quick. Race 1, it was McKean on top, Piner in 2nd, Pearson 3rd. Overall in Pro-Am, it was Mendina, McNichol, and Clifford. Amateur was Krochik and Habe. Silver, Williams, Gilroom, and Hickman. Race number 2, overall, it's Vining, McKean, Dornelis. Pro-Am is McNichol, Clifford, and McNichol. So the 2 brothers topping out on Pro-Am. Amateur class, Krochik and Have again, and then Silver, Williams, Hickman, and Gilrum. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hop on over to North American Red Split. We'll see what these guys have to offer. Did I know the track used to run the other way around? No. Here we go. Into Red Split. So Red Split a bit smaller than Blue Split. 23 drivers here in North American Red. So looking through all the drivers. Oh, it's doing this again. Okay, I have to restart my race control, or broadcast control, excuse me, program, and it doesn't really seem to like it when you switch servers because reasons. So with North American Red, much like every other split, we have some returning faces, some new faces. So for those that are coming back to the North American Sprint Series, Hamza Gulzar, a driver who really did a lot of work last season. Keith Briscoe, Ben Keogh, Makuta. Oh, I'm never gonna get this one right. Makuta Padier, I think that's it. Tim Brook, another driver. Kurt Moss, returning. Nathan Specht, Chris Pace, I believe. Or no, I don't think he was. I don't think he was here last season. MacIver, definitely. And of course, one of my fellow commentators and a very good friend of mine, Mr. Ryan Garrity, in, you know, the Beamer, with quite the livery. It's his colors, so I'll give him points for that. The race results from last week, which obviously we did not broadcast. Mullick was out with illness, so we couldn't really get anything together. And, you know, Mullick hit me up. He goes, hey, if I get things together, like, right now, or for tomorrow's race, can you do it? I said, sure. So last race, it was Gulzar on top, Steele, and Alvarado. Alvarado is not here, so he will not be participating tonight, lest he shows up at some random time. But, yeah, new faces, Jacob Langvin, pass on DeGrasse. I don't know if we can do that, but, and again, I'm a commentator, not a driver. Hayden Harder, Michael Fritz, James Morris, John Steele, Jared Troclair, I'm assuming you don't pronounce the X. Ronan Cahill, Chris Pace, unless he was and I forget, then Chris, that's on me, I apologize. Anders Jensen, Elliot Levine was a driver we talked about just now, and I have the memory of a goat. Craig Dale, Marco Jansen, and Eduardo Sanchez. So again, a smaller grid here tonight, so thankfully I don't have to do any scrolling, which makes my life about, I'd say, 1,000,000 times easier. I mean, not that it really matters, but yeah, so we got a pretty solid grid here for tonight. Catching up with chat a little bit. They changed because of MotoGP, really. A mod for R Factor 1 has that version, only in ACC. Have I driven Misano the other way? I had no idea. I should watch a lot more MotoGP. Speaking of racing, ladies and gentlemen, it is Rockheek down in Miami, and I'm going to be working in the middle of it, which will be great. I've seen the what are your guys' opinion about the Miami circuit? I've seen every opinion, every which way about it. I don't want to call anything yet. I think it could probably be a bit better, in all honesty. But we'll have to see. Did I just get disconnected from the server? Bro. We're doing this again. Wasn't there an update like just recently? I thought there was. I'm not too certain. Also, I just saw rain. Why did I see rain? Also, we're not getting into... Oh, now we're in game. But, looks like we're having some technical issues. Hello? No? No? Okay. Update yesterday. Okay, that's what I figured. If I go drive... Okay, okay, I think the server might be dead. Hold on. We're, excuse me. We're getting it. Hold on. Hopefully, everything's good. I can hear the game. The game is running. But doesn't Doesn't look like the game's really agreeing with me. Apparently my CPU usage is over 99%. I'm not going to say that's a lie. It might be. Apparently there's a 99 car grid. And I'm guessing my initials MSC. Apparently I'm Mick Schumacher. So I'm Schumacher. There we go. Best lap at 23.9. I don't think that's possible here. Server may have died. I will be keeping an eye on the Discord real quick. I don't quite know what is going on here. I do apologize for this. You know, things can happen. The world's a big place. So we'll see if there's any chatter going on in the paddock, as it were. Let me just try and reload everything. Red split. Hey, is it possible that I was in the wrong server the whole time?
Green light. Go, go, go.
Yes. Or no. No, I wasn't in the wrong split. I was in the right one. Alright, there we go. Fast forward to the next session.
Green light. Give it all you got.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for some North America Red here at Misano. So a smaller grid, but still a lot of action to work with. Fritz going to be the first one out into the world, so he'll be setting baselines unless he, you know, goes off track or something. But it is the outlap, so he doesn't have much to worry about, as everyone else is starting to follow suit. I do like the colors on that the Honda, though. Blue, white with the pink accent. Works pretty well. But hopefully Fritz will not have to pass on to grass. I don't think the OOR takes too kindly to that. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. It has happened, but you never know. Here we go into qualifying number 1, or qualifying that isn't properly centered on this top of the screen. And if you didn't notice that, I've just ruined it for you, and you're welcome. I'm sure it's supposed to say qualifying 1, but whatever. We'll take it. We'll take what we can get. What session is this? This is qualifying number 1 for North America Red Split. So, okay, Michael, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to season 9 of the Sprint Series. But yes, you can think of a better question. Message retracted. I wish it said message redacted. That'd be so much better. I just love that word. Is it still NA split? Yes, it is. It is still North America split. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Watch this. Ready? Ready? Boom. Red split. We in there, boys. We in there. It's hot. Yes, there are 2 separate North America splits. I believe Asia Pacific has 4. And then NA and EU have 2. So yes, North America does have 2 splits. If we look at the number of cars that are here now and the cars that were in last race, I believe that's about 56, 57 drivers in total. And I don't know if you ever raced with grids that big. Not something you really want to do. It's very, very interesting. And it makes sense over like an endurance race, 8, 9, 12, 24 hours, but 30-minute races, that's a little bit much. But right now, Michael Fritz, man out front, just doing his own thing. It's all right. Hey, Michael, don't worry about it, man. Do not worry in the slightest. If you're new here, welcome to the OOR family. We're glad to have you. We have broadcasts every Wednesday and Thursday, depending on where you are in the world, for the Sprint Series, Asia Pacific, EU, and North America, which is what's going on tonight. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Fritz across the line at 33.93, so that'll be the benchmark as we wait for drivers to come through. Anyone else able to set a time harder? One of the newer drivers, a 34.25, and then Keith Briscoe, a 34.9. It is Michael Langvin, or Jacob Langvin. I was looking at Michael Fritz. with a 33.552. So that'll be the next time to beat. Yeah, PJ's right. Usually 4 in AP this season, only 2 with a BMW M2 and a Porsche Cup day on Wednesday. So I thought about doing that. I'm like, I don't like the Porsche because the Porsche kind of kills me a little bit. Haven't driven the M2 all that much, so I won't. I'm more of a McLaren boy myself. But looking around the grid here, it's Michael Fritz still at that 33.93. Goals are at 34.117. So maybe trying to channel his inner Master Chief. Hard with that 34.25. Morris with a 34.54, and then you got Kurt Moss with that 34.837. It's Briscoe at 34.93. Makuta Patier with a 34.967. Spec the 35.072, and Ronan Cahill at 35.075. So 3,000s between these two drivers. Cahill, though, a newer face here in the OR. He's not here last season, so we'll get to see just how well he can put up with some of these talented and already established drivers. Hamza Gulzar, one of them. A driver who sort of just went into Season 8, just did a little bit of casual thrashing, and then said, all right, I'm ready for next season. Keogh and Briscoe, Makuta Patier, Moss, drivers that have returned. Speck, Brooke, Pace, Ryan Garrity, Mr. Ryan Garrity as well. Used to be in the booth. I used to race with him in rookies, and then, well, when we finished rookies, he immediately went into the booth, and then that same season he was in the booth, I was racing in sprint, and then the season after that, I'm like, I don't want to race, I want to commentate, and, well, he was in the booth for part of that season, and then he had to back out due to his wife delivering their first child. So Ryan, not only working with being the best driver in the world, but also being the best dad in the world. So shout outs to Ryan for that. Alan McGyver, a new driver that's coming back. Brian Rasco, saw a good bit of him last season. And then again, everyone else, all the new drivers I didn't mention are new to the party. The Honda is so strong now. I might have to hop into it. I did notice there's a lot of Hondas on this grid. Gulzar actually just getting overtaken by Michael Fritz. So Michael Fritz taking over the pole position, a 33.345 for him. Just about 0.15 ahead of Gulzar. Langevin with that 33.5, and then Keogh with a 33.97, and then it's that's Morris with the 33.8, and then Keogh with a 97, and then Harder, the last driver to be in the sub 34s, because he has a 33.99, so that's close enough, right? It's close enough, but Fritz right now on provisional pole as we close down the first round of qualifying here. Nobody else really moving around. Everyone kind of just staying where they were before. A few drivers still having to get another lap in. Currently only 4 laps thus far, so I believe Fritz will be the last. Oh boy, there it is. Well, I mean, he's living up to the team name, and that'll be his qualifying over and done with, fortunately for him. Track map real quick. I just gotta see who is where. 69. Ooh, just getting across. That is actually Jacob Langman. Oh, there you go. So that is pole position, a 32.985. The only driver to go into the 32s. Wait, what? Didn't he go off? Oh no, that was Fritz that went off. I'm sorry. I have eyes. They don't work, like, at all. Well, I should say at all. Looking around the grid, we'll hop on driver 29. That'll give us something to work with. Ryan Garrity, actually. Here we go. This is what we want. Ryan Garrity, 21st on the grid, and he will unfortunately stay there. He will not get another chance John Steele up to P4 for him. Tim Brooks still out there. He still has this final lap unless we go ahead because the max wait time, it just isn't accurate. I can't tell you the number of lobbies I've gone into and I've been on a banger of a lap and then all of a sudden the game goes, nope, you're done. I know there's a minute and a half left, you're done. It's just like, alright, I guess, God. But Tim Brook currently sitting P8 at the moment. Around the final corner, he does have a 34.18.2. So we'll see if he can improve. And he goes up to P7 with a 34.907. So good for him. Brian Rasco, P16, crossed the line to P14 at the last possible second. Ladies and gentlemen, your grid is set for the first round of the North American Red Split. Here's what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a quick look at all these liveries. We got the crowd here, always watching, always rotating with us. Definitely not creepy. Down the grid we go. It's a Honda lockout in the first row, and then you've got the Beamers right behind them. Oh, that's not the button I wanted to hit. Oh, I was doing so well. It's F2, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Darn. Darn it, darn it, darn it. I was doing so well. So it's, yeah, it's the Honda 1-2. It is the BMW lockout as well. Honda, Audi, Bentley Honda, Audi Aston, Honda Bentley, BMW Bentley, McLaren, Aston, Nissan, Mercedes, Aston, Beamer, Audi. So, pretty solid drive from all of these guys. Here to get it started. But it's not about where you start, it's where you finish. Just as a reminder, top 12 moving on, or not moving on, but top 12 will not get to participate in qualifying number 2 because, oh, they're going to be reverse gridded. I don't think that's a word, but I'm going to keep saying it anyways. Look at this. This looks amazing. I love it. And I love the little X design. It looks so cool. Because it's the Honda NSX. And they're... Okay. But yes, depending on where you finish, you will be moved around top 12. So first goes to 12th, second to 11th, third to 10th, so on and so on. And then 13 all the way down to 23 will battle it out for those remaining positions. If you're watching a driver who just happens to be in the bottom part of the grid from 13th down to 23, and if you see wherever they finish, just sorry about that, just add on 12 positions to their final time or their final position, and there you go. And we'll go all over that when we get to it, so you don't have to worry about it right now. Just worry about getting ready. The 30-second call being given to the drivers. If you do not hit drive in that 30-second window, well, you're going to start from the pit lane. 20 seconds. I don't have to do it. I'm not, you know, I'm not worried. I think the driver that we were spectating is not
10 seconds.
hitting drive. Uh-oh, 10 seconds to go. Cars off the jacks, as it were, as we get ready for the first round of North American Red Split here at Misano. And away they go. Honda, Beamers, Honda, Bentley, Audi, Honda, Aston, Honda, Bentley, Beamer. I lost track. I couldn't see the cars. But they're all running over my camera. I worked so hard to bring this camera to the... Who is that? Who was that? Who was that? That was not a Lexus. What car was that? It was a like a black and red. It might have been. I don't think it was James Morris. It looked like it though. It could. I think it was. I think he had a. I think he found like some gold or something and just had to pick it up. I love it when the game just bugs like that. It's so funny. Oh well, thankfully he's pointed in the right direction, because that could be a little bit... I don't think sticking your head in the ground is really the best strategy for a race, but then again, what do I know? But right now, it's Jacob Langevin on pole, pass on to grass, and Michael Fitz also team pass on to grass. That's why their cars look kind of similar in color scheme. And look at that, they are buddy right now. Something Two-Face. And then Hamza Golzar, no team, he races for himself. John Steele, JSR, I can only imagine what those initials mean. James Morris, DAG Motorsports. Ben Keogh, Black Bullet Racing, I think a team returning. Tim Brooks, Satellite Racing. Hayden Hunter, or Harder, excuse me, TSC Deconey Racing. Keith Briscoe, Dragon Nuts Racing, alright. And Kurt Moss, top 10, Massive Motorsports. So drivers lining up 2 by 2. So we'll get underway here at Misano. It's going to be nice and bright and sunny. It's a perfect day for a race. So the 2 Hondas lining up on the front row and the 2 Beamers behind them. So it'll be very interesting to see how things play out, and hopefully they play out a bit better than North America Blue on lap 1. Granted, North America Blue had like 34 cars. We got 23 now, so things should be a little bit safer. I'm praying already. But ladies and gentlemen, they're rolling up to the start-finish line. Langevin on pole. Fritz next to him. It's green, and off they go. And it's actually going to be the Honda from Morris getting a really good jump there at the start, and he might be gaining a position as everybody goes through turn 1. It's nice and clean, and everybody keeps it together. Langevin wasting no time at all in getting away. It's Hamza Golzar looking to attack Fritz here. Tries to go for a move down the inside, but has to back out, and he does again, and there is, there is Morris into the back of Golzar, who goes goes not into Fritz. I'm sorry, I was going to say Fritz, but we've had quite the shakeup here. It was a Honda going off and everything starting to pop off here. I think we had 4 abreast temporarily. Tim Brook getting a little bit crazy there. It's the BMW of, I believe, Troclair, who got into the side of him, but thankfully things did not go downhill. As Makuta Patier, excuse me, as he actually goes down the inside, and that'll open up the door a little bit for Sanchez, but Sanchez can't make it work, and all these drivers falling in line here. But Langevin getting the most out of it. He's already 3 seconds ahead of Golzar and Morris. Morris in the Lexus, or in the Honda. I'm so used to those colors on the Lexus, my brain just automatically assumes. But yeah, it's been a great launch for the first driver. There was Fritz sitting in P8, and now we've got Moss and Rasco Moss and that is, I can't even tell who that is. I can't see the number too well. It doesn't matter. We've got cars getting all comfortable with each other. There's Troclair. This is looking like 3 wide down the front stretch. Sanchez overtaking. It's going to be Specht losing out, but it's not quite over yet. Troclair not ready to give up that position. But there goes Sanchez around the outside. Back down the inside goes Troclair. And P13 staying with the BMW driver, as we see the Honda of Makuta Patier. Thought he had a move down the inside there on Sanchez, but it wasn't quite enough. So we ride on board here, looking for a move, possibly waiting for the brakes. Ooh, Sanchez could not be any later on the brakes if he tried. And right now it's Troclair who gets to leave him in the dust at the moment. But this pack still getting together. We're going to move up a little bit. Keith Briscoe, P7. He's got Fritz right behind him. Fritz dropping 6 positions at the start, but he's been recovering pretty well for himself, all things given. As they go around, you can see all the tire marks from qualifying. Driver's getting a little bit out of shape. But so far, the start has been pretty good. Just one incident, but everyone keeping it together. Keith Briscoe running a bit wide there. Going to give Fritz a chance to catch right up. Back on the throttle he goes and keeps it going. Nathan Specht. Oh, that's going to be a little bit wide there. And that's going to be, I am fairly certain, Makuta Patier. Yeah, around a little too far off the track, and he's going to lose that position. Suspect picking up what he can, and right behind that is Jansen. P17 for Perky 30 GT. What a great team. I would love to be a part of that. But everybody's starting to settle in. Jacob Langevin trying to keep, I think, that almost 4-second gap at this point, unless it, no, it is. It's about 4 seconds. That has been quite the start from him. He has said, you know what, I will take your little mistake at the start, and I will pull away. You can see everybody else following suit here. Helicam doing a really good job of showing pretty much everybody. Hop back, Ryan Garrity starting to do battle with Levine in the BMW as well. Levine rocking those German colors, and behind them is Pace, who is keeping his pace up pretty well to stick with these two drivers. And they go on to the backstretch. Ryan Garrity actually getting a lot more speed down the inside. He's got to lift to avoid taking out Levine. So for right now, Ryan Garrity not getting the job done quite yet. But there is still 25 minutes to go. Anything can happen here. And then he will have to do it all over again in race number 2. Up front, John Steele looking to get something done on Keo, but he's got to worry about Harder behind, but Harder not as close as he is to Keo. So for the Briton, that is very good news for him, but as I say that, of course, Caster's Curse is a thing, and he's losing a little bit of ground to the Audi, and the Honda says howdy. Getting right up in there. James Morris also having to deal with this. He's lost time to Hamza Golzar. But Golzar has been losing a lot of time to Langevin. Langevin saying, hey, Honda might have gotten a little bit of a buff. Let me give you a little taste of what it's like. I mean, that thing is just flying. It is gone. So we look around a little bit. Ryan Garrity again getting close to Levine, but he's got to worry about Pace, or not Pace, excuse me, Jansen, who actually gets around Pace. So we did not quite catch that. But for right now, Ryan Garrity's got more speed. He might go for a move around the outside here. Down they go. It's Levine getting onto the grass a little bit. Ryan Garrity pulling alongside a little bit later on the brakes. And unfortunately, that's actually going to open the door. Jansen going to go through down the inside. So Jansen picking a position, but Garrity not quite done yet. But unfortunately, with that exit, he will have to pull out of this battle for the time being, but he's right back in there. So Levine holding on ahead of Jansen, Garrity, Pace, and MacGyver. Even if you're out in the back, you can still get it done. You can still put on a show. We've got packs forming all over the place. Keith Briscoe, though, now he's starting to feel the heat from Fritz. Fritz has been catching up all day, every day here, trying to put those Honda buffs to good use. As Briscoe going defensive into the corner, trying to block off as much as he can, but he's going to compromise himself, and that's going to give Fritz a chance to get on the power. And now Fritz starting to go and send it, trying to go around the outside, but I don't think it'll be enough. No, not quite. Has to back out, going to bide his time, but down the inside he goes. You can see just a little bit of time gain, but not quite enough. Fritz actually picking up a 15-second penalty. So that's going to be causing a collision on lap 1. Fritz apparently has 2, but I don't think that's quite right. I think it's just an error with the bot. Makuta Patier with a 10-second for jumping the start, actually. And then James Morris with a collision on lap 1, so he'll pick up a 10-second penalty there. Keith Briscoe, though, I don't know how long he can hold on for. Out of the corner they go. Fritz, it's an overtake, but it's going to be a little bit difficult with that 15-second time penalty. Looking back, though, Tim Brook, the two Bentleys, Brook and Cahill, getting you know, a little bit comfy with each other, trading back at 9 and 10 and 9 and 10 and 9 and 10. Tim Brook really forcing the Irishman of Cahill to work for this. As they go, Brook will take over the lead of this battle temporarily. Cahill not quite done yet. As they go back into battle. I forgot the camera's on the left side because it's a Bentley. And Bentleys are weird because they're on the right. Oh, but this is starting to heat up a bit with the Bentleys. I mean, we've got battles forming all over the place. Anything can happen here. Back of the grid looks like starting to calm down a bit. Drivers starting to get gaps there, gaps all over the place. Keith Briscoe still having to deal with Fritz, but he knows Fritz has that 15-second penalty, so it will probably not be too much of an issue. So we'll hop back here. Nathan Specht in the McLaren, hunting down the McLaren of Eduardo Sanchez. Or no, sorry, that's Makuta Patier in the Honda, Nathan Specht in the green McLaren, and then Eduardo Sanchez in the white McLaren. I will get all of these eventually. This is the first time I'm seeing a lot of these cars, so you'll please forgive me. I can only do so much. But right now, it's Sanchez starting to pull away here. Specht having to deal with Makuta Patier, but that 10-second penalty probably won't do much. Down the inside he goes. That's an overtake, but it's a little bit empty, my friend. You're going to lose it by race and around. Michael Fritz finally getting around Keith Briscoe, but much like his fellow Honda driver Makuta Patier, it's an empty overtake. If anything, he's just barely going to hold on to that position. He might lose a few positions by the end of the race, but we'll just have to wait and see. James Morris starting to catch up to, or sorry, no, he's not. He is not catching up. I was looking at the wrong driver. It's Keogh behind is catching up to Morris. Although Morris, with that 10-second penalty, he will not have to really try. He can just kick back, relax, and I'll wait for things to clear out. We did have another penalty come through for Anders Jensen. 10-second penalty on lap 1. So the scoring column not looking as lit up as Blue Split, but still getting some Christmas lights out. It is only May. It is gonna be May. So if you're a Backstreet Boys fan, hey, you're good to go. Or was it NSYNC? Oh God, I don't remember. Whatever. Right now though, things starting to settle down. Brian Rasco. Looks like Cahill got around him at some point, and now that gap's starting to build. Looking back, here we go. Elliot Levine starting to pull away, so we're going to look back to Alan MacGyver as he has the BMW of Ryan Garrity in his sights. Doing pretty well for himself. Keep things pretty clean here. Both drivers avoiding penalties, which is what you want here in these races. And obviously, because there is no pit stop, these penalties are applied post-race, unless, say you have no fuel in your tank, but at this point, I feel like you should have noticed. You'll see more often than not people getting penalties, and actually, as I say that, down the inside, it's going to be MacGyver getting around Garrity, and that's going to open up the door for Pace. So Pace is starting to light the fire underneath Garrity's seat as they go down into the turn. The door is open, but Pace not going for the move. Gonna just stick back and wait. Although out of these corners, the Aston really does struggle because of that turbo lag. You might be right up on somebody, but you get out of a corner and they are gone. Not because you got the corner wrong or because of this. You can get a corner perfectly, but just because of how long it takes that turbo to spool, it just kills your momentum and you just lose out. But Pace right now trying to get around the 90s colored BMW. So you look back around. Steele starting to come under pressure from Fritz, but again, with that 15-second penalty, it's going to be a little bit different. 3 out of the 4 penalties tonight going to Honda drivers. So perhaps the updated Honda is a little bit cursed, which is not very good. But everyone's starting to just settle in. So I think what I'll do for the first time tonight is we'll throw on the autopilot, see what autopilot thinks. of course, I didn't see Keo and Harder because I was too busy looking at penalties. But yeah, this is the battle for 4th position. As they go down the back stretch, Harder not really close enough to do much of anything, but definitely keeping things all neat and tidy and stitched together and topped with a nice little bow. It's been Keo using all the track width he can to gain time. And, oh, that could get a little bit scary. Keo cutting across. And Harder having to back out to avoid taking out the Audi. He had a really good run there. A yellow flag being waved. Where is that? 39. Car number 39. It's Makuta Patier. Let's see if we can get a replay. Oh, he just loses the back end. Okay, so he caught it just in time. Yeah, he just out of that corner loses the back end. Thankfully, kept it pointed in roughly the same direction. But I think at just about this point or so, he stops. Yep, puts it in the pits. MacGyver into the pits as well. He has a drive-through penalty. That's going to be for track limits. And Makuta Patier has actually been disqualified. I have never seen that happen in any race. I don't know if he had maybe a drive-through for track limits and then kept defending the track limit. I don't know. I've never seen that. So for the rest of this race, Makuta Patier unfortunately does not get to participate. You hate to see it. It's never something you want. But he'll get another chance in just about 14 and a half minutes as he'll get ready to qualify for race number 2. The Misano track bug, according to Mac. If you cut the track right there, the game auto DQs. I had no idea. That's very interesting. I don't know why it would. It's not like he didn't even gain any time. He just like slid out and then stopped there for a minute. So I'm sure Makuta Patier is on the phone with OOR headquarters. It is very unfortunate. I'm sure Kunos will be addressing these bugs in a future update. I know the game just got updated, I think today or yesterday. I didn't know there was an update until I went to start the game, and it told me that I had to update. Right now, looking at Harder with Keo and Morris up front, so these two drivers will be gaining a position by the end of the race, should things stay the way they are. I think right now the talk of the town is Jacob Langevin. I mean, you look at that gap. That is 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 14 seconds. That is, that is a 14-second gap down to second. I mean, I know it says 9 seconds on the timing screen. Oh god, now something's, I don't know what's going on with me. The broadcast controller is saying just okay, it's gone down to about 10 seconds. So I mean, if that doesn't tell you just how good this guy is, I don't really know what does. Gulzar, last season, very, very strong. A driver who pretty much sat up front all day. And now he's been replaced by a fellow Canadian, of course, but not quite. Makuta Patier still in the pits with a 10-second penalty. So I don't know if they can get him back out on track, but for right now he will be sitting in the pits. So for the rest of the grid, though, not really much happening. Ryan Garrity having to deal with pace still, but keeping him at bay. Eduardo Sanchez with Troclair in front of him. Jansen actually picking up a drive-through penalty. If I had to bet on it, probably for track limits, because Misano. Eduardo Sanchez actually not getting the best line out of there, so that's going to give Nathan Specht a chance to catch up. It's Sanchez defending on the inside from his fellow McLaren driver. And they will both get out of that corner just nicely. thought Specht was going to have a bit of an overtake there, but Sanchez making sure it didn't happen. And he'll hold on to P14 for the time being. Just a little under 11.5 minutes to go here for race number 1. Tim Brook doing work and catching up to John Steele. But he's also got to worry about Cahill behind. The two Bentley bros doing what it is they do best. And what is that? Catching up. And even Brian Rasco, a third Bentley, trying to join in on the fun. But Tim Brook right now getting an excellent corner there. And he's going to pull alongside the rear left quarter panel of Steele as they go into turn 1. He will have the outside line, but he's going to have the inside line. There's Steele going over those sausage curbs. Actually going to lose the BMW a bit, but keeps it together. And we're going to almost go 3 wide there, as we saw Cahill getting a little bit dicey. Same with Rasco, and it's going to be Tim Brook just obliterating a poor innocent sign. Right now, though, Steele holding on to what he can. It's Cahill. Goes into the side of his fellow Boatley driver, Rasco, and it's all going to fall apart. Tim Brook getting the move done down the inside of Steele. He got ahead just enough before the corner, and it will be Tim Brook picking up that P8, but Steele not quite done with that, but you saw the two Bentleys getting a little bit out of shape. You saw Cahill, I believe, go down the inside, and he started to lose the back end of that Bentley and just sort of lost all of it. Could have been Rasco, I don't know. I don't remember, but somebody got loose, somebody got around it and kind of spun themselves and knocked the other person wide, but thankfully not much of a casualty there. But Tim Brook getting out of that one the best out of anybody. And as I say that, he goes into the grass, and that's actually gonna give Steele and Moss a chance to overtake. So Steele and Moss picking up a position. Steele back into P8. And Moss grabbing a freebie. Brook not getting out of the corner the way he wanted to. He sent it very, very wide. That gives the two lime green cars a chance to overtake. So all that work Brook did is now gone, and he has to do it all again. Second time, he may be able to get around the Aston Martin here. Probably out of the corners, just basing it off of that turbo lag we talked about earlier. But we'll have to wait and see, as Kurt Moss actually pulling away. Very, very solid car there. So we get more bots. Dope. Everybody fill up chat so we don't have to see the bots. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. What can you do? But for right now, drivers starting to get comfortable. Langevin, 10 seconds. Gulzar, just about 6 to Fritz. Fritz with that 15-second penalty. Keogh behind him. Again, just sort of sticking with him. He doesn't need to do anything. He's just got to stay there and do his own thing. Around the grid we look. So really the only thing going on right now is Steele and Moss and Brook all sort of forming their own little pack. Brian Rasco having to deal with Nathan Specht there in the, I would say the Irish-colored McLaren, because, you know, they like their green. Right now, not much going on. Drivers settling in, just doing time trials until the race is over. The front end of that Bentley looking a little scraped up, so probably just some unfortunate contact, even on the sides, the back, pretty much every side of that Bentley, bar the right side. A little scratched up. Ryan Garrity picking up a drive-through penalty, probably for track limits. Rasco picking up nothing, actually, for a collision lap 13, so he'll get away with that. I believe that was just more of a racing incident, so nothing to really worry about there. But yeah, right now everything's pretty much set in stone. For the time being, Kurt Moss losing time to Tim Brook. Tim Brook really starting to catch up a little bit. And again, with that turbo lag out of the corner, the Aston does struggle. So we see, oh, and that's going to be, that looks like, not Steel, that is the Mercedes of Jansen getting loose. Hopefully he doesn't get disqualified for that. Back marker, not having the best race and doing something like that is not what you want. It looks like he will be getting away with it. Actually goes into the pits. So I don't know if maybe the game thinks he's going to be getting disqualified. He just park it outside of the pit lane and teleports back. So this may be the end of the race for him. Makuta Patier actually back out on track, so it looks like he got things sorted. He is 4 laps down with a 10-second penalty, but you know, you want to race. Come on, you go, you race. Life is good. Life is good. And we see, I believe that is a back marker. Not Makuta Patier. That actually might not even be a back marker. That might actually be someone racing. Brian Rasco. It's a Honda. Is it Troclair? No, it's not Troclair. Who is it? Oh, it was Morris. So Morris was sitting in P7. Now he's down in P13. I do not know what happened there. I don't know if he got distracted and, you know, just pulled off to the side to keep people from ruining the races. I have no idea. Ryan Garrity into the pits to serve his drive-through, and right as we get back with him, he's back out on track. Still with a decent gap to MacGyver. Actually, sorry, not MacGyver. MacGyver is out doing his own thing, so fortunately, Ryan just bringing up the safety car spot. Not the safety car spot. I would say probably the medical car. Morris still picking up a 10-second penalty. Did that come in earlier? I think it did. Yes, it did. Okay, yep. Collision on lap 1. So even if he gets this overtake on spec, it won't matter. It'll be an empty overtake. So he looks down the inside and has to back out. Eduardo Sanchez looks like he might have gotten a little bit of a warning over on race control. So thankfully, nothing much happening from that. But Sanchez can kind of just take it easy. He knows that Morris has a 10-second penalty. It should be on his MFD. So he will not have to really go for any moves here. He can say, you know what, I'll just back off. I'll do my own thing. Nothing to worry about. Because he will be picking up a free P14 by race's end. Langevin, though, really stretching his legs. 9.4 seconds to Gulzar. So he has done a phenomenal job. Actually, it might be even more than 9 seconds. I have no idea. Where is Gulzar? There he is. So across the line he goes, 11 seconds. So Langevin has 2 more laps, this one and 1 more after that, I believe. I could be wrong. I have been wrong in the past. So we could see 2 to 3 more laps here for these drivers. A very solid race for him. So he'll be starting from P12 on the grid for the second race. We'll see if he can do what McKean couldn't, which was go from 12th to 1st in one race. Just have to wait and see, though, how things pan out. But yeah, everybody just getting settled in. And drivers with penalties, they'll have those applied at the end. And everyone else kind of just doing their own thing. Up and back, though, Troclair and Cahill and Rasco. A little bit of a Bentley sandwich with BMW in the middle. Not really a BLT, but close enough. But these guys sort of just doing their own thing. So we got about 2 minutes to go. Langevin, let's see if he probably won't be crossing the line now. So we're going to have 1 more lap after this. So next time Langevin gets around this corner and onto the front straight, he will be on the final lap. But for right now, we'll have 1 more to go here. Still with the fastest lap, a 33.202. That is a very, very strong time. But I don't think he'll be able to get down into the 32s unless he stitches together some god tier lap. But we'll have to see as he pulls up to the back marker of, I believe that is MacGyver. Yep, the Nissan getting out of the way. Letting the Honda driver through, back on the throttle, and well, there you go. How to get around back markers 101. Tim Brook actually going to lose a position out to the McLaren of Specht, and Sanchez actually as well, and Brook's going a bit slowly. Wondering, no, I don't think it's a mechanical issue. I don't think it's tires. I don't think it's... It could be fuel. It is possible that it is fuel. If we pull up the HUD, let's see. Oh, we can't. Right, because they don't want us to know. He might be. I don't know what's going on. His shifting is all over the place. He was braking and went down to... Or he went up to 5th for some reason. He's in 5th gear. And he's only going 80 miles an hour. I don't know if he's having issues. He may be having issues with his wheel, and that is possible. That would be my guess. Let's see. Goes down to 6th. No, or not down to 6th. He stays in 6th gear, so that must be a mechanical issue with his wheel. And Tim Brook was doing so well for himself, so we'll see if he can carry on into race 2. Langevin starting the final lap, though, here at Misano for race number 1. Golzar getting his final lap going. Michael Fritz will be losing his positions to Keo Briscoe, and I believe Harder Steel, or not Harder, but Steel Moss, I believe. So I believe Fritz will be down in P8 by the end of this. Harder will be probably P9 or 10. We'll just have to wait and see, though. But yeah, Tim Brook. Tim Brook into the pits, so yeah, most likely something with his wheel. Not what you want to see here. But Langevin just putting on a clinic, as we saw in the background. Golzar getting around on the backstretch. But for the time being, Jacob Langevin, he started on pole, and he's been just cruising start to finish. Quite the gap, 11.4 seconds back to Golzar. He's got one more corner to get through, and it will be Jacob Langevin start to finish on pole and the win and fastest lap. He has had an incredible race. Hamza Golzar will round the final corner as well to finish out round 1 here at Misano, or race 1, excuse me, at Misano. Michael Fritz with that 15-second time penalty, so he will probably be dropping back, like I said, to P8. As in the background, we see Keo and his fellow Audi driver Briscoe across the line. Harder with a 15-second penalty, so he'll be dropping some positions. Steele in P7, Kurt Moss in P8. So it looks like Fritz will be sitting P8, Harder P9. Brian Rasco, that will be a P10 for him. Troclair P11 after penalties. Cahill, is Cahill out of gas? Cahill has run out of fuel. No? Has he run out of fuel? I don't know. I think Cahill may have run out of fuel. You can see the inputs. You can see the telemetry. He's on the gas, and now it's dead. Engine at 1 revolution per minute. Is there somebody, anybody in the world who could help him out? Let's see. Nope. Cahill underfilling his car. Oh, it's so unfortunate. You hate to see it. So he'll have to settle with P16 and also not crossing the line. Brooks ran out of fuel. He was in map 8. Ah. So 2 drivers not calculating their fuel correctly. And if you're like me and you struggle with getting your fuel correct, ACC strategist. There you go. Pick your car, pick your track, Pick the formation lap length. What's your time, more or less, per lap? And it'll tell you how much you need. Not sponsored. But there you go. There is race number 1. I'm sure we'll be fast forwarding into the next session here in just a moment. The 2 drivers running out of field. Tim Brook and Ronan Cahill. Both doing pretty well for themselves. And unfortunately falling way down. Brook probably down in P21. Cahill may be able to go up into P15, but I doubt it. No, he won't be able to. I think the game still thinks some of these drivers are out on track, which is always a little annoying. But a very, very clean first race from North America Red. A lot better than Blue. I'm surprised. Usually it's Blue that does the better of the 2. So on into qualifying. You can see the rain in 30 minutes, but qualifying is only 8. So thankfully the rain will stay away as Cahill pulling out first into the world of qualifying. So as we said before, the top 12 will get reverse grid. So if you won the race, you're gonna be out on track in P12, and second is P11, and 3 is P10, so on and so on and so on until you get all the way back down to 12 or up to first, depending on how you look at it. And everyone else will be fighting for another position, so 13 down to 23. Only 10 people will be out on track. It's Makuta Patier, MacGyver, Jansen, Garrity, Cahill, Morris, Jensen, and Levine. So Cahill will be the first man across the timing line, and he'll be setting the benchmark for everybody else to try and match. But we will have to wait and see here how things go, but a very, very good job from all of these drivers, keeping it clean, keeping it together here for race number 1. And after this qualifying is over and done with, we'll have another 30-minute race here at Misano, and then we will say goodbye to this Italian track and say hello to the second Italian track over at Imola for a regular old sprint race. I do agree with you, Simon. We might need more mods. Hint, hint, hint. Hey, Malik, can I have mod, please? Malik, I'll pay you for mod. Is that against the rules on YouTube? I don't know. I only stream on Twitch. But Ronan Cahill crossed the line, so we'll ride on board, or we'll ride with him. We'll see just what the strat is here. See where the bar lies, unless he goes off track. Which at that point, well, that's sort of not what you want to do. But we'll see what happens. You can see drivers at this corner getting a little out of shape. I feel like it's one corner where everybody eventually slips up a little bit. But thankfully the track is still optimum. We said no rain, although the threat is there. I don't know if there will be rain during the session. If there is, then, well, it'll be the wet tires on. It'll be a lot more interesting. I don't believe Silverstone had any rain. I know it's in the UK, but for once it didn't rain there. One thing to actually note about the race from last week is that was the first time, as far as I can tell, that we actually made it a 2 pit stop mandatory for the race. Normally when it comes to these longer, the longer regular sprint races, it's just 1 pit stop and that's it. But for that we tried 2. I don't know how well it really went. I wasn't really there all that much. I did watch the POV of Ryan Garrity, but I was also like doing stuff at the same time, so it was like sort of watching, sort of not. I was just peeking in every now and again. James Morris, though, currently on pole for the bottom 10 drivers. with a 34.092 and Ronan Cahill with a 35.060. As we pull up the track map really quick, see who is where. Looks like a lot of these drivers still on fresh laps. May have gone a bit wide, so Chris Pace, we'll see where he sits as he crosses the timing line. It'll be provisional P3 with a 35.295. So a very good start from him. And Tim Brook making it a 35.510. And now at this point, we are all up and ready for all of these drivers to full send it around Misano, try to get more time as we actually see Morris catching up to Cahill. Not what you want to do, especially in qualifying. You want to try to get around drivers as much as you can. Morris about half a second almost down on his previous lap. Same with Cahill. So Morris not too happy with that, and there it is, Cahill letting him through. He sees the pace that Morris has. He is going to give him the space. He's going to give him that spot and say, you know what, man, go do your thing. I've got nothing to worry about. So across the line, right now, it is going to be Makuta Patier up into P2 with a 34.607. So a very good run from him. Jansen P3, yep, with a 34.952. Cahill still holding on to a P4, Pace P5. And as I say that, it's actually MacGyver who takes P5 away at 35.082. Chris Pace 6th with a 35.295. Brooke with a 35.510 or 510. Yeah, I forgot how to speak. Elliot Levine with a 35.812, and then Ryan Garrity with a 36.110, and Marco Jansen with a 36.435. So for right now, we do sit with Morris, who is 4/10 up on his previous best. So this will probably further cement his spot on top of these drivers. It's one of the beauties of the broadcast controllers. I can see the deltas, which you can't do normally. Potential rain at nighttime. What could possibly go wrong after how dry the night races have gone? Hey, Matt, can you... Oh, actually, I'm reading what you said. Therefore, it's not a caster curse. Huh. I wonder. Hopefully it goes well. I mean, we had a bit of an issue with North America Blue at the start, and they got it all sorted out. So hopefully that can continue. We got Morris improving, so he's at a 33.69. Brooke up to P2 with 34.24. Cahill at 34.41. And then you've got Makuta Patier in P4 with that 34.607, and then Pace, the 34.8 dead for him. And as I say that, he improves to a 34.620. Drivers, can I please just get a thing out before you guys just improve? But for right now, Morris will be starting P13 on the grid. Brooke is 14th, Cahill 15th, Makuta Patier 16th. Pace 17th, Jensen 18th, MacGyver 19th, Levine 20th, Jansen 21st, Garrity 22nd, and Dale, one of the newer drivers here, 23rd. Did that overlay just mess up? I wasn't the only one that saw the timer disappear. Also, the number for qualifying is back. Let's go. But Tim Brook parking it, Jensen parking it, MacGyver, Levine also parking it as well. I just realized Dale up into P9, so good for him on that one. It does improve. So James Morris not really improving here, but it doesn't really matter. He's already got pole position. Ronan Cahill also will not improve. Makuta Patier will go up to that P2 with that 34.215. Looking down, Marco Jansen, who is about a second up on himself with a 36.087. We'll make it a 35.417, so that'll be up into P8 for him. Ryan Garrity Also improving about 6/10 or so on his previous best, and across the line, it's going to be a P9 for him with 35.485. So a very good running from him, and here it goes into the night race. Is there going to be... Oh, no. Oh, no, it's gone. Darn. Darn it. I saw... I saw the rain, and I thought, boy howdy, let's go. And then the rain went away. Which one of you did the rain go away? Also, look at this glow. That's why I love this game. Like, the glow looks so good. But we're not here to look at the glow. We're here to look at the cars. Oh, I hit the right button this time. Here, we'll give you the blank screen. So, double Honda, double Bentley. Again, these drivers will not be set in stone. They will be shuffled around a bit. And then Aston, Audi, Nissan, Merc, and then the two Beamers, Ryan Garrity, one of them, and Jet Levine, the other one, Aston Honda, McLaren Audi, double Hondas in the back, double Beamers, Audi, Bentley, BMW, Aston, McLaren. So these drivers will be called up. So for those of you that do not know, when it comes to these super sprint races where you have the 2 races and the 2 qualifiers, your top 12 from race 1 will be reverse grid for the race. So if you're in first, you'll be put into second, or if you're in first, you'll be put into 12th, and then it'll be second to 11th, third to 10th, so on and so on, and then everybody else will follow suit. Now, because of this, when it comes to standard start procedures, it's a little bit different, because what the game is looking at is where the pole sitter car is. So for this, it'd be James Morris, and even though Morris is the pole sitter, quote unquote, and he's not, the game will wait until his car reaches the proper position, and then it will start the race. So some people tend to get a little bit confused by that, and they go, well, these cars have already gotten over the, the timing line, why are they not going? And then, like, a few seconds after, then they start going. That was something I kind of struggled with when I started, but drivers starting to turn their cars on here, getting ready when that 30-second call out has been made, which it has. You will have, well, that 30 seconds to turn the car on. If you don't, you will start from the pit lane, which is not ideal. So drivers probably starting to do some last-minute preparations. Here, yep, cars getting spooled up, so race directors are probably calling out the numbers right about now, and we will be seeing the proper cars go through to McLarens. So P12 and P11, P10 moving on through, P9, and I believe this is P8. Yep, P8 coming through, P7, and then on to P6. There it is, the Aston Martin, and P5 right there. P4 should be moving on up. There it is. P3, P2, and last but certainly not least, P1. And the rest of the grid is now free to join their competitors up ahead. So we will see. Well, we won't really see, but we can assume the drivers probably kept it in a straight line because, well, that's what we aim for. We aim for perfectly straight lines here at the start. So like we said, drivers will be, or not drivers, the start procedure will be a little bit delayed just because of where Morris is, and that's what the game is looking at. So we'll see drivers pretty much starting to get into turn 1 by the time race goes green. Sanchez, Specht, Troclair, Rasco, Harder, Fritz, Moss, Steele, Briscoe, Keogh, Gulzar, and Langevin are your top 12. And then Morris, Makuta Patier, Brooke, Cahill, Jensen, Pace, MacGyver, Jansen, Garrity, Levine, Dale, your 13th down to 23rd. Drivers trying to get some heat into their tires here. It is at night, so track is not as heated. Sitting at, I don't know how comfortable 13 degrees Celsius is, but with a 13 kilometer an hour wind, I don't use metric. I use the correct systems. The driver's probably getting the call out to start lining up 2 by 2 here. So it'll be Sanchez on pole with Specht behind him. The 2 McLarens getting that front row locked out. Hope the same for McLaren on Sunday. We'll have to wait and see. But ladies and gentlemen, getting ready here for the last race of the evening, North American Red Split. And after this, we'll be moving everything over to Imola for not next week, but the week after. We'll have a bit of a gap, and then we'll be back onto the schedule. Green track might catch a few out. Yep, not optimum conditions. So you'll see these cars go over the timing line, and normally the race would start right about now, but not quite. But now it's green, green, green here. It's Sanchez getting a beautiful launch there. Specht almost going back into the pack. Everybody's starting to bunch up there, but no changes just yet. We're going 3, almost 4 wide in the background, and we've got an Audi around, and we've got a Honda around, and it's all starting to fall apart. This pack forming up. Look at this. We've got a whole little squad rolling out here. Thankfully, no safety car needing to be called, but everybody getting into each other and sort of knocking each other back into position. You love to see it as we've got another pack forming. It looks like 5 drivers here, 3 wide up front, 2 wide in the back. Down into the corner they go. That's going to be the BMW Troclair around the outside of, I believe that is Specht. So Harder, Fritz, Moss, and Rasco. Or Rasco's actually a little bit out of this. So down the inside goes Fritz. Fritz trying to make up for all the lost time. We've got cars off in the background here. Everybody's just getting into each other. So they're not quite doing what Blue Split did, but they're getting kind of close. Again, no safety cars, thankfully, as we see the 2 Hondas. Morris and Makuta Patier way off, and into the fence he goes. Roll that one back. You can see Makuta Patier on the inside, Morris around, or Langevin around the outside, and they just get together. And then Morris just cuts across and spins out Makuta Patier. That's definitely gonna draw the eyes of the stewards. Right now, Sanchez just taking that lead and getting it going. Fritz making up positions. Troclair as well. Kurt, Moss, and Harder. Keogh, Brian Rasco, John Steele, Langevin, and Morris. So I think I got that wrong. It was actually Langevin, who I believe went to the side of Makuta Patier. That is on me. I apologize. But definitely not the best start for some of these drivers, as Jansen's going to end up losing a few positions to Garrity and Brooke. He's got pace right behind him. Makuta Patier into the pits, so it looks like he is going to be getting some repairs done on that Honda. You hate it when it happens, especially at the start of a race. It's never what you want to see. Ronan Cahill, a little bit of an overview. Craig Dale joining us from the land down under. I believe it's probably about 1 in the afternoon for him. So he's getting that move done around the Aston Martin. Or sorry, that's Briscoe getting around Dale. Ooh, man. I don't know what cars are anymore. That's too much effort. Oh, that's actually... Who is that? Is that Sanchez? Did Sanchez spin out? Take a look back. Oh, yep. Just gets onto the grass. Loses the back end of that car. Hopefully, and by hopefully I mean thankfully, does not get DQ'd. I know the game might do that. We also see the BMW of Troclair taking advantage of that. So now it's Fritz in the lead. As, oh boy, that is Harder going a little bit further than he would have liked. Probably just missed his braking point. Kurt Moss catching up. And that's also going to give Keo a chance, as Keo almost goes into the back there of the Aston Martin. Looking back a little bit, Brian Rasco starting to feel the heat of steel as he runs wide onto those very scary sausage curbs. John Steele trying to pick a side to go on. Can't. He's just going to have to stick with where he's put. Rasco closing the door on the inside, not giving him a chance. Catch up with the BMW. Not quite done here as they get ready to go down the back stretch. He could gain some time here as we see Morris almost going into the back there. The BMW having to dive the other way to avoid disaster, to avoid penalties. As we go into back of the field, I believe that was Keith Briscoe, or no, that might have been someone got around. I think Pace or Briscoe might have gotten around somebody in the background. We just barely caught it. MacGyver though, getting very, or Brooke getting very close with MacGyver. So this reverse grid really giving us something interesting to watch. You know, you got the fast drivers in the back, and then you've got, you know, maybe the slower of the top 12 drivers up front. It's a whole dynamic. Trying to get around without killing them, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Marco Jansen, I thought someone was going to hit him, but actually it's Keith Briscoe starting to put the pressure onto Pace. He almost took Pace out, but thankfully was able to keep it together. Jansen picking up a 5-second penalty. I'm sure we'll see what that's all about here in just a second. Okay, 10 seconds. If I had to bet on it, probably a collision. But that is Jansen? Yeah, it's Jansen off onto the grass and almost getting taken out by the Bentley of Cahill. And Craig Dale will also take advantage of that. So that's going to be Jansen all the way down to P19 after that. Probably a bit shocked by what he got. And as I say that, Dale not expecting Cahill to break when he did, I'm guessing. And he darts off to the side. Kurt Moss in the pits. I don't know what that's about. It might be damage. It might be tires. If it is tires, it's a 30-second loss for him. So we hop back up front. It's Troclair ahead of Sanchez and Harder. Behind that, Langevin, Keo, Rasco, Morris, Steele, Gulzar, Jansen, and MacGyver. So very good runs from them. I believe Sanchez might actually have fastest lap. No, it's Gulzar with fastest lap. Gulzar a 1:35.127. Track conditions are fast, so that is a little bit better than green, but not quite optimum. Right now I think we'll focus on this little pack here. Troclair starting to pull away a bit, so that's good news for him. Sanchez under attack from the Honda of Harder, and behind them is another Honda of Langevin. Again, the Honda getting a buff recently. Doesn't perform too well here at Misano, but I know a few other tracks it absolutely shines in. As Harder looks for a move around the outside, it's not going to be quite enough. And because of that move, it's going to be Langevin that catches up. And here they go, onto the backstretch. We'll hop back on board with Sanchez. He's trying to keep it to the inside as much as he can, trying to hold on to this P3. Langevin also looking for something. Sanchez, I thought he was going to leave the door open, but Harder thought better of it and backed out. Did not want to ruin anybody's race. And that will give Langevin a chance to catch up as well. Troclair, a little bit wide there, probably had the lift, and ooh, there's Langevin breaking a lot later than he should have. Look at this little 5-car train we got going, and actually back a bit further. It's Rasco. It's Morris, Rasco, Steele, and Gulzar. So some battles sort of forming all over the place. Cahill into the pits. I don't know what that's all about. It could be damage, could be tires, could be fuel, could be anything. Right now, Tim Brooks starting to give, I believe that's the Audi of Jensen, a bit of trouble, and it's a very simple, clean overtake. So, Tim Brook up into P11 over Jensen, and he has quite the task to catch. That is the Honda of, I believe, Langevin. Langevin losing a bunch of positions, so what in the world happened there? That is very, very strange. I'm wondering if players are having like issues with their wheels or something, or I don't even know. Langevin way down the grid. So not what he wants to move back up front. Sanchez trying to get a move on Troclair. It's harder catching up. He thought for a move down the inside, but thought better of it. Ooh, and getting very close. Maybe a little bump drafting. This isn't NASCAR. I don't know if that really works too well here, but you know, I'm not going to try to stop him as see Troclair running wide here. Around the final corner we go. Sanchez actually getting a really good exit, and he'll be right onto the back bumper of Troclair. Thought about a move down the inside, but has to back out. Not quite close enough for it just yet. Oh, and it's actually going to be Sanchez and Harder getting together. Let's see what happened. Sanchez thought a move down the inside was going to happen. He has to back out of it. And then Harder trying to force the issue and ends up losing out the most. Sanchez is able to get back around, but Harder will have to settle for P9. So was not the move he wanted. Went down the inside, and well, the door closed as he got there, and at that point there was nothing much he could have done. So that is that. The control bot is broken, so I don't know. And hey, this penalty's come through, but whatever. What can you do? It's very unfortunate to see. So Fritz will get to pull away with 0 issues. Troclair getting away from Keogh after that incident. Morris as well. Rasco in hot pursuit. Same with Steele and Gulzar, who have gained a few positions. Sanchez sticking with this pack, so he's not giving up quite yet. And you actually can see Harder in the background having to give a position to Tim Brook. For right now, drivers once again settling into their positions as a lot of them get ready to start lap number 7 of this race. 18.5 minutes to go. It's Fritz out front by... Did Fritz let Troclair through? What is going on? Drivers are just letting others go. Ben Keogh looking to get something done. Keogh actually picking up a penalty. I don't know if that was for contact or it might have been, yeah, it may have been contact with Fritz, but I'm not too sure. Things are very strange here in Red Split. I have several questions. I do not know what's going on. We had a driver leave, parked it for the night. So as we focus here on John Steele, sitting in P6 ahead of Gulzar behind Rasco. He's done a pretty good job for himself at the start. Right now he is just hanging in there as we lose another driver to the racing void, as it were. Not quite the shadow realm, but close enough. Keogh picking up a 5-second penalty. Did I already say that? No, someone picked up a penalty before. Who was it? I don't remember. Things are very strange here in Red Split. Things are very odd. I don't know what's going on, and I'm kind of scared. But anyways, we're not here to talk about the paranormal. We're here to talk about the normal. as Chris Pace not getting the best exit out of the corner. Langevin, who does pick up fastest lap, is starting to make a move here. But Chris Pace defending for his life, keeping those doors closed as best he can. Langevin's lap time, a 34.767. So that'll be the baseline to beat. So the only person close enough to beat the 34.7 would be Hamza Golzar, who has a 35.1. So we'll have to see how things go here. It's Chris Pace, I believe the turbo lag there of the Aston really hurting his exit, as Langevin pulls up alongside. A little switcheroo here. Onto the back stretch they go. And Langevin slotting in behind the Aston Martin, looking for a bit of a move. He's very, very close here. But I don't think it's going to be quite close enough. No, it is not. So Pace going to get away with that one. Right now, Troclair. Keo behind with a 5. Golzar with a 5. So penalty is starting to get handed out. Here we go. It's been updated. So Harder gets a 10-second for a collision on lap 2. Keo, collision, 5-second penalty. We'll get a penalty for a collision. And Golzar, dangerous driving, nets him a 5-second penalty. So I'm very surprised. Golzar is usually a very, very clean driver. So I do not know what is going on. We have passed the halfway point. A little under 15 minutes to go here at Misano. As Chris Pace having to deal with Langevin, who actually gets a pretty decently good exit. And he's going to maybe look for a move down the inside. Probably a little bit later on the brakes if I had to call it. Not close enough, though. So for the time being, and as I say that, never mind, Langevin gets the move done down the inside, taking advantage of the Aston's horrible turbo lag. And pulls out that P12 from under Pace's feet. As we jump around the grid a little bit more. Alan MacGyver with Langevin now in his rear view. Definitely going to try to keep him from getting around him as much as he can. Depends on what happens. Langevin's last lap was a 37.357 and MacGyver's was a 36.38. But we don't know how well that works. It's gonna be Langevin running a bit wide there and getting a much better angle down the inside. MacGyver starting to feel the heat from the Honda that pulls out to the left side later on the brakes, but not good enough. MacGyver compromising himself as he goes over those sausage curves on the inside, and another position picked up for Langevin as he speeds off into the night. So now MacGyver has to worry about Pace, who's caught up after that error. And you go back, Jansen having to defend from Spect, but then again, he does have a 10-second penalty, so well, it's not going to be too much of an issue for Spect. As long as he just stays with the Mercedes, he's not going to have to worry about much of anything, but he wants to get around him, and he does. He doesn't want to stick behind him. Although this little mini battle could continue, as Jansen got a better exit. Spect later on the brakes, though. So for right now, it's just going to be him sticking with that. We've got another penalty coming through. Morris picking up a 15-second for dangerous driving, and Golzar a 10-second penalty for dangerous driving. So that is 15 for Golzar and 15 for Morris, 10 for Jansen, 5 for Keo. Keo now in the lead, though, which is very, very interesting to see, because that usually is not where he's at. He's usually at least top 5. Chris Pace starting to catch up to MacGyver a little bit. Not much though. And as I say that, there's Pace starting to pull up closer to the Nissan. Tim Brook having to defend from Briscoe for P9 here. So a lot of your front runners, surprisingly, with penalties, and it's pretty clean in the midfield. But right now, Tim Brook holding on to P9, and he gets a little bit later on the brakes. I think he might have outbraked himself just a hair. So Briscoe catching up. You can see Langevin in the background as well. Langevin still with the fastest lap. Time has not changed at all. Although we could see things change here in a bit. Track temperature has done 0 for everybody. It is still a, I think, cool 13C. I don't know. But moving back up, Troclair, Rasco, the only 2 of the top 5 with no penalties. So if they just hang on to where they are, I believe Troclair will win, and Rasco will finish 2nd, and then Keogh will be 3rd. So if they can just keep pace with Keogh and everybody else, then it'll be a pretty smooth win for Troclair by race end, and then Rasco with a well-deserved P2, and then again, Keogh should be P3 by the end of it, unless I'm doing my math wrong. Actually, still could be P3, and actually, Hamza Gozar is starting to get a little bit of something off of Rasco, but wasn't enough. And even if he does overtake, it'll be an empty overtake because of that penalty. Moving back a little bit. Now, Langevin's caught up to these 2, up to Brook and Briscoe. Although Brook getting out of there, and it's actually going to be Briscoe with quite the dive from way, way back. What a move from him, and he's coming across to cut off the Bentley. Tim Brook trying to find something he can work with, but not quite as they go around down into the braking zone. Tim Brook having to let off the throttle a little bit, and the back end stepping out on him. So Langevin looking to gain a position here, get into the top 10 after whatever happened earlier where he dropped a bunch of positions. And apparently 13 Celsius is 55. What do you mean fake units? Those are real units. Into the drive-through for Jensen, I'm assuming for track limit. So, I mean, if you're going to get a track limit, you know, penalty and get a drive-through, you might as well get it as you get to the pits. I think that's probably the best spot to get it. Obviously, don't get one, but, you know, sometimes these things happen. And Tim Brook going down the inside of Briscoe with a little bit of a Tokyo drift there. Don't worry, gents, we'll be in Suzuka by season's end, but I'm glad you guys are getting ready right now. Langevin tried to go for something onto Keith Briscoe, but it wasn't quite enough. He had it for just a split second, and then unfortunately couldn't do it or get the move done, so he'll have to slot back in behind the Audi. Right now, Alan MacGyver still having to worry about Chris Pace. Even after Langevin is long gone, you see Specht in the background, and then Jansen a little further back, but again, does have that 10-second penalty. So, yeah, he will not be much of a threat for right now. It's also about 4 to 5 bald eagles. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for really localizing it for me. I appreciate it. Back up front we go. Rasco and Troclair just keeping it with one another. They're about 3-ish seconds back from Keogh. So if they keep things the way it is, they should be picking up an easy 1-2. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go here at Misano. We've had a pretty solid race so far. We had a very interesting start as drivers were getting a little too friendly with each other, but thankfully nothing happened. I just saw Chris Pace change positions here. Unless I was wrong, which is possible. MacGyver, though, not getting the best exit, so it's going to be Specht closing in to the Nissan. Slightly different line. MacGyver going very, very wide, and that's, well, that's basically a sliding door level of open, and that's back to round and out into P12. And Jansen's still behind, but with that 10-second penalty, any overtake is not really going to help him out all that much. Right now, though, very, very good clean move by Specht, capitalizing off of the mistakes of his competitors. Jacob Langevin getting around Keith Briscoe up into P9, so he's a pretty good drive for himself. Maybe he's just deliberately sandbagging to try to, maybe it's content, we don't know. Maybe he's making a series on YouTube. Not quite worst to first, but like worst to, or like first to midfield to first. Who knows? Anything can happen. As we pass under the 6-minute mark, it is still Keogh out front, but I think the only person that'll most likely capitalize could be Troclair, unless the gap is large enough to where Keogh is able to burn that 5-second penalty and be far enough ahead to where Troclair can't benefit. And actually that might be the case. Morris 2.2 seconds back, Troclair 3.0, so that is 0.2 more than 5. So it looks like Keogh might just be doing a full-on sprint, just driving as aggressive as possible, basically hot lapping for the remaining 5 minutes here. It is definitely going to be a very tough ask of him, as we see Troclair with Rasco just behind him. Down the backstretch they go. Bentley to the outside, BMW on the inside. Not quite onto the brakes. Into the first braking zone, into the second braking zone. Round, or not the final, but the third to last corner. I have gotten so many track cuts there, it's not even funny. Yes, I am still upset about them, even though they happened ages ago. But it looks like for right now, Keogh picking up another penalty. So he picks up a 5-second penalty for a collision on lap 1, and Tim Brook picking up a 5-second penalty for a collision on lap 2. Okay. So it looks like the pairing of Troclair and Rasco are going to be able to just take it easy now that this 5-second penalty has become a 10-second for Keogh. So now it's just about winding down the laps. I believe we should have, I want to say 2 more laps after the end of this. Let's see, this one will bring us down to about 2-ish minutes, 2.5, 2:45. And then another minute and a half. Okay, so we should be within the closing 3 laps, if I remember correctly, if I can do math. Let's see, 30 seconds or so to the line for Keogh. So we'll see 2 more laps after this. Troclair picking up a drive-through penalty. Troclair picks up the... It must be for track limits then. Which means Troclair either, 1, ignores the drive-through penalty and picks up a 30-second penalty at the end, or he just dives into the pits and tries to scavenge what he can. He's staying out though, so I don't know. He might not do it. So the entirety of the top 5 minus 1 driver has a penalty of some sort. So if Rasco, if you're listening, please just keep it together, man. The entire top 5 has a little red ticket next to their name, except for you. Can you keep it together just a little bit longer, bud? All right. By the time Keogh gets back around, it'll be the final lap. And from there, all Rasco needs to do is just keep it together. Gulzar getting a little antsy, trying to get around. Hopping back on the grid, it's Ryan Garrity catching up with Levine. And he's looking for a move around the outside. Levine really squeezing him over. Might be a bit careful with that one. That might draw the ire of the stewards. As Garrity getting a pretty good corner there, but that is going to give Jensen a chance to catch up to the BMW pair. As it's going to be Levine running a bit wide here. Ryan Garrity trying to take advantage of that, but he can't. And once again, it's going to be Levine going wide. Garrity goes wide, but Garrity getting a better exit here. And he's actually going to go down the inside of his fellow BMW driver into the corner. He goes. Ryan Garrity getting the move done, and Jansen will say thank you very much. Oh, not quite. He bumps into the side of Levine, and he was not able to get it done later on the brakes, trying to do something. Troclair into the pits for his drive-through. You may be right, Matt. It may be more than 30 seconds. May not be worth, and there it is, Jansen. Jansen turning Levine in the last lap of the race. Oh, that is unfortunate. You just see him going down the inside, and there was just not enough room for him to go onto the road. There was maybe barely enough, maybe an inch or two.
The leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
But oh, you saw him get onto the grass a little bit. The car hopped up, and that was that. Right now, though, it's Ben Keogh who has opened the gap. So Morris is 2.5 back. Rasco, how far back is Rasco? Rasco is 8 seconds. So Keogh may walk away with it. He may get extremely lucky and get away with this. It is very, very possible. As he rounds the final corner, if my calculations are correct, Ben Keogh, even with penalties applied, will pick up the win here at Misano. Morris will be demoted down X number of positions. Brian Rasco coming across will pick up a 2nd place. Steele will pick up a 5th place. And then Sanchez will probably get that 7th. Langevin with the 8th. Briscoe probably with 9th or so. And then I believe from there it should settle down. Nathan Specht across the line. Chris Pace held off MacGyver for the entire race. Job well done from him. Jansen with that 10-second Troclair. He was up in the top 5, got that drive-through, decided to serve it, and he's unfortunately going to get served a 13th place, not quite close enough to take advantage of Jansen's 10-second penalty, so it'll be about a half-second gap. Ryan Garrity, a very respectable P14, a very good drive from him. Anders Jensen, unfortunately, may see a position loss here at the end after the turn on Elliott Levine. Craig across with 15th or 16th. Levine with 17th. So, what a race we had here tonight. The drivers keeping it much more clean than the blue split, but we're not here to compare. So we'll look through everything. Race number 1 overall, it's Langevin, Gulzar, Keogh. Pro-Am is Harder, Specht, and Sanchez. Amateurs, Levine, Dale, and Garrity. Going to race 2, it's Keogh, Rasco, and Steele. Overall, Pro-Am, it's going to be Sanchez, Specht, and Pace. Amateur class, Garrity, Dale, Levine. I'm sure that all of the penalties will be applied and all the official results will be out soon enough. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us tonight. We say goodbye to Misano, and next week we will be saying hello to Imola for a regular old sprint race. An hour for these drivers, 1 pit stop. May have another commentator here in the booth, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for your support. Welcome back to the live streams. We're here all the way out until the last race of the season. There is no race next week. It is a bye week for everybody, so say goodbye for that week, and we'll see you the one after. Enjoy yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Stay safe, stay beautiful, and we'll catch you next time.
Suppose there are times when you lose your troubled mind. Suppose there are times when you're feeling undefined. Suppose there are days when your colors touch the ground. That's when you call me and know just what to say. We go out and on the night. We jump and touch the light. We dance and we don't sleep until we die. We don't have to